Let the bouncing begin! Repeat after Tigger. Mrs. Kingdom! You let it all loose. Mrs. Kingdom! The collection always does whatever. Very good friend. The collection always accepted. The collection always does whatever. Very good friend. Collection. The collection always does whatever. Very good friend. The collection always accepted. The collection always does whatever. Very good friend. The collection always very good friend. Very good friend. Very good friend. Very good friend. Dancing Mrs. Kingdom. Something moving. Mrs. Kingdom. Something moving.
And hello, orcs and gamers. Welcome to another episode of Morning Nonsense. I hope everyone is doing fantastic today. I hope you all had a nice morning so far. If it is morning for you, I know for some of you it isn't, and for some of you the show is just morning nonsense. Well, I'm glad to see if you made it. Glad to see them. Hello, Doctor Crow. Welcome to the chat. Bancho. Hello, Bancho. Spitfire. Right? Spitfire. Hello, Spitfire. And Johan, there you are. Hello, Johan. Hello. Mark in 3D. Hello, Mark in 3D. Hello, hey, fellas. Is Mark in 3D? Well, hello to you, Mark in 3D. Semantic Dragon. Hello, Semantic Dragon. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Demon of Thy Sword. Hello. Just send it. Let me know if you'd like a version without the white sparks. Oh, neat. I'll check that out. Our Master DX, hello. Hello, LD says Our Master DX. Well, hello, Our Master DX. Welcome. Archmage, hello, LD. Well, hello to you, Archmage. Welcome. And Harry Schroeder, welcome to the chat, Harry Schroeder. Welcome. Let's see here. Hex Harper. Hello, Hex Harper. I haven't seen you in a while. I know you've been busy. You mentioned that you've been busy with work or something like that. So it's good to see you, but return. Good to see you return. Hello. Welcome. General Grievous. Hello, LD. Well, hello, General Grievous. Hello. Nexus 906. Hail, chat. Orcs. Don't forget the orcs. Hail, Lord Satan. Don't forget the Dr. Alpha. Awesome. Fantastic. Chekhov's Antlers. Hello. Chris Hitchens. Hello, Chris Hitchens. Hello, Alextar H. Lobo. Welcome to the chat, everyone. Hello, Burf. Welcome. Chris Hitchens. Hello. And Damned Owl. Hello, Damned Owl. I don't think I've seen Damned Owl very often here, or at least not recently. Let's see here. Andrew Cole, welcome. What literature are we discussing today? Some interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Always some interesting stuff. Let's see. Archmage with the some deer. What is this deer? We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. There goes some Dr. Alpha. So Dr. Alpha, there we go. It's Dr. Alpha. Don't forget the Dr. Alpha. Always fantastic. Well, hello, chat. Hello, 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 and welcome. And allow me to introduce, we have a guest already.
You will ride eternal, shiny and chrome.
You still haven't got the reply.
Not yet.
Fuck,
Not yet.
Sorry, I it was trying to stream a camera, but I don't
Okay.
have one
You
plugged
don't
in.
have one. It was all
So it's your darkness.
it was all dark. It was a camera to your soul.
Yes.
Well, it is pretty dark down there in 10th level of hell, you know.
Yeah, it is. I can't see. I try to find my laptop here. I just kind of end up electrocuting myself on the eels.
The eels and the feels. Let's see here. Creeper Weirdo. Howdy. Well, hello, Creeper Weirdo. Hello, hello. Let's see. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Rai 214 witnessed. Absolutely witnessed. All the best people are witnessed. All the best people witnessed. And that means you are all witnessed, chat, because you are, of course, as always, best chat. You're always best chat. Hello, numbers. Shiny, you'll be with us forever and ever and ever and ever.
Unfortunately.
Let's see here. Rage Tornado. Teacher pulled a jump scare. Not supposed to be here. What do you mean? You were trying to go to, I don't know, school or something, and they pulled a jump scare? Fantastic. Right? It sent you right to hell. Sent you right to hell. Let's
So I
see
don't need
here.
to worry about that.
Okay, well, we have some nice, delicious morning nonsense to go into. Some nice, delicious stuff. I think we'll enjoy it. Let's start off with, I would always like to try starting off these recent episodes with something light. So let's see here. I think we might enjoy this. It's from a very prominent, I think, artist from, who I just know off Twitter, but they often produce some really interesting things. And I think you'll like this. It's Star Wars related.
All men are kings!
If he breathes, he's a sap! Ah!
Now turn to the Japanese version.
すべての男は王様なの。奴らはただ息をしている。
虫当然だ！
There you go. It's a twist on all women are queens, and the two neckbeards, they fight with lightsabers. And the good guy is all women are queens, and the bad guy says if she breathes, she's a thought. This is the opposite. Mary the artist is really good at that sort of thing, turning things around. Kind of like gender swapping these things. So now you have a if he breathes, he's a simp. I like it. Fantastic. Let's see here. We got some more stuff though. Got some more stuff. We have one by your boy Zach. I think he put this out maybe a week ago or something like that, but I think it's still perfect because we're still reading over the pain and destruction brought to us by the horrific Star Trek Picard. And which is it's going to be interesting because your boy Zach is known for having a horrible taste in movies. But let's see what he has to say. I have no idea how this is going to be. This is on his other channel, by the way. His main channel is like Diversity in Comics. What was Diversity and Comics? It's now called Comics Matter with your boy Zach, and I think with Luna, I guess. But he also has a secondary channel called Splau Delgado, which, by the way, is the name of his comic book company, which basically just provides a comic book logo for his book and taxes, of course, because he makes a lot of money now. He's legit wealthy. He's not just a poor guy with money. He's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year now, and he's working with the Sylvester Stallone, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and he still shops at Walmart. Like he's still very excited about getting some shoes, brand new shoes from Walmart, like off the rack at Walmart. Very excited about spending no money at all. Spending hardly like I think like almost I think he gets the internet from his neighbor or something, or the guy he lives with. Like he's living, I think he's still living with his friend, just to save on money. So and people always make fun of him how he has like hillbilly internet stuff like that because he couldn't join for a while. He couldn't join any live streams for a while. But that's the mind of a legitimate wealthy person. That's how you stay rich. You don't just get $1 million and you spend it all. That's how a lot of these is homeless who like they get famous, get $1 million, or the people who win the lottery, how they return to the exact state of affairs a year or maybe 4 years later or so, is because they don't have the right mindset. But your boy Zach has the right mindset. He spends no money whatsoever on anything. Let's see here. Vulcan of Nocturne, noise. Hello, Vulcan of Nocturne. Hello, Blue. Good morning to you, Blue. Let's see. So, and the thing is, he was very apt on comic book recommendations, very apt on comic book opinions. But one thing that he also got notorious for with his own fan base is that he's terrible taste in movies. Like if you hate the movie, if everyone hates the movie, like I'm pretty sure there's a video out there of your boy Zach loving The Last Jedi. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there were. So I'm curious to see what his take on the Picard is. Going by the title of this video, I'm pretty sure he kind of grasps what's going on here. Okay, considering it's called Picard episode 8 and 9 is women yelling at men in space. So I'm pretty sure you might be spot on here. But let's see. Let's check it out. I know you've seen Picard, haven't you, Shiny? Or have you just heard
Unfortunately.
of it? Yeah, I've seen Picard also.
Icheb get his face ripped out and then screaming and then having to be mercy killed, because that's totally what should be in my Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly.
Mercy killing and screaming and gore.
And this is to highlight how terrible that scene was handled. I didn't even like Icheb. Like I don't even care about Icheb. In fact, I wanted to kill him off during the Voyager series. But they handled it in such a horrible way that even I was offended. Like, why are they doing this to Icheb? He just came out of nowhere just to be tortured to death.
Honestly, I don't like Will Wheaton. I don't like Wesley Crusher. But if they did that to Wesley Crusher, I'd probably just be like, what the fuck?
If they did Wesley Crusher, I'd be like, oh, okay. That's fine. That's fair. I understand. I get it. Yeah, I get it.
You want to pump out more soy boys that look like Will Wheaton? This is the inevitable result of all of this. This is where we're going. This is why we fight so hard.
Yeah, they're just I don't know what it is about the writers. I think just afraid of blue-haired land whales or whatever. You know, those weirdo types who just complain about everything on Twitter all day. We need to stop letting Twitter rule the world, Shiny. That's what we need to do. Someone needs to sit down with these weirdos and say, you got to stop letting Twitter rule the world. It's not real. Believe it or not, Twitter's not a real place. It's as your boy Zach said, it's a far leftist matrix. It's like it's a fake little world. It's a plastic world made for far leftists. That's pretty much what it is. So it seems like they're winning. It seems like the whole world agrees with them, but it actually doesn't. It's actually not the way they see it on Twitter. It's just a fabricated. Have you seen one of those houses, like an open house? It's all fake and everything. It's not really there. Like it's just maybe like a set piece or something. It's kind of like what Twitter is. It's a set piece. It's a far leftist set piece. No one actually thinks like it's not actually overwhelmingly true what you see on Twitter. It's a fake world. As your boy Zach says, it's a far leftist matrix. But for some reason, people think it's real. And they're all afraid of getting assaulted and getting bombarded by these weird blue-haired, as we tend to call them, blue-haired land whales on Twitter.
I'm fucking Ahab. I'm Captain Ahab of the blue-haired land whale.
But we got to be Ahab, chat. We got to be Ahab, Shiny. We got to be Ahab. Can't be afraid of these blue-haired land whales. Okay.
So you got a new clip for that, but you haven't put in. But why did we do this? And the new one, that new intro that I wanted.
I'll do that after the stream.
Oh, you always say after the stream.
Just remind me. Just remind me. But yeah, essentially, I think I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I think one of the reasons why Picard and Star Trek kind of went down this, as your boy Zach elegantly says, women yelling at men route is essentially this.
Left-wing activists. They say, nice hobby that you have. It's a little bit sexist, don't you think? Maybe you better let us in to fix it. Bitch, it wasn't made for you.
You know, something like that. Something like that. And see, Bancho, Day of the Harpoon win. Soon. Always soon. Let's see here. Okay, Drake Duelist. Captain Ahab constantly hunting the great white feminist. Could never get that great blue whale. The great blue whale of a feminist. Or something like that. You gotta be Captain Ahab. Gotta be Captain Ahab. You gotta be Ahab, chat. Everyone has to be their own little Ahab. I'm refusing to bow down to these weirdos. Anyway, let's see what your boy Zach says.
Hi everyone, it's your boys.
Okay, this is a premise, this chat. Every time you see your boy Zach video, just remember that this might be 11 minutes long, but it's probably like, I don't know, 5 minutes of actual content. It's actually 5 minutes on actual content matter, or the subject matter. So he's probably going to be talking about like how he went to the gym or something first. So this warning.
Zach, and I'm a little nervous on this one. So, usually I will do some, minor professionalism before a video. I will turn the AC off. I'll turn the fan in the room off. If there's birds making a racket outside, I'll go and clap a couple times. But there's some sort of toilet issue right now where it's doing this high-pitched whine every few minutes. So you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it. Also, if anyone's, I looked it up. I mean, I did like 1 minute of research, but I guess it's called a fill valve replacement. And if you could give a difficulty level, with basic tools and watching a few YouTube videos, can I fix it, or is this going to be some kind of comedy scene out of a John Hughes movie or something?
It's not going to work. I'm just telling him now. It's not going to work well.
By the way, this is how he makes his trailers for his campaigns. Yeah, that's why his trailers tend to be like 30 minutes long. He's going on about how like I don't know. He went to the local
Gonna
McDonald's.
fix my toilet.
Something like that. Like if he had to fix a toilet that morning, he'd be like, I had to fix a toilet and had to go down to the local grocery store and buy a plunger, and I had to come back with some sort of plunge the toilet, and it didn't work that way, so I had to. It's like that, and then he'll start talking about like, okay, by the way, I have a comic up on Indiegogo, all the same video, But that's how most of his videos go. Anyway.
So, but anyway, this is my review of episodes 8 and 9 of Picard. Full disclosure, I watched them while pretty drunk over like 3 consecutive nights.
It's kind of how you have to watch Star Trek Picard. Actually, if you had to watch Star Trek Picard, I do not recommend watching it sober. Same method as I would recommend watching anything from Disney, Star Wars. Except for the Mandalorian. Mandalorian can be sober, but everything else you have to kind of be drunk to really enjoy, or trick yourself into accepting the illusion that you're enjoying it. Yes, everything is Disney. Except the Mandalorian and what was it? Whatever else that was. I heard the last season of Clone Wars was pretty good. I heard the last season of Clone Wars is pretty good. Let's see here. But it would probably be better. Star Trek would probably be better these days if it weren't for these weirdos allowing in these activists.
And you weak ass fat beard cucks who let these bitches come in here and make it unhospitable. Tell the fans that they're Nazis if they don't like their characters being destroyed.
Yeah, if you didn't like Picard being destroyed for a whole season. Tearing down the character Picard for an entire season of Star Trek Picard. Well, you're a Nazi. You're just a Nazi. You're a bigot.
You didn't want this. You didn't choose this, but here it is.
But here you are.
You're a fucking Nazi.
No one should have a random chance of playing a Nazi. Yeah, that's why they bought the World War II game. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's like when you buy the game, you're consenting.
Do you have a forum out there? Did you know that if you buy a World War II game that has multiplayer, you might have a chance of playing a Nazi? I didn't know that.
So why does it think that? Okay, so if people play Nazis in a video game, they're gonna become Nazis. This is big brain time.
Is he a Rachel? I can just imagine the channel pretending to be a feminist for a day just to watch fanfic Star Wars. Hmm. Yeah, I could see that could happen. Just pretend. You have to get in the mindset, and then you'll enjoy it when you have the mindset of a one of those weirdos. But then we have to go into like I guess we can go in this fantasy realm and just imagine that everything's awesome, everything's great. That no character needs training. If the character is just amazing and awesome with no reason, then that's fine for some reason. It'd be kind of hard to do, but I think we can pull it off. Say Girodine. Yes, Picard. That the show where the directors came out and said they made it specifically to upset Star Trek franchise, and to specifically fuck over the entire franchise should be illegal. Yeah, that's it. Star Trek Picard. That's the Star Trek Picard we're talking about. The one where they made it exactly, specifically to upset us, to trigger us, chat, because we're bad guys. But he even used the terms anti-SJW and stuff, so he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. So it wasn't just an accident.
And the thing I have to say is that I'm very confused because, you know, they had all the turnover of the cast, or not the cast, but the crew in with Discovery. And then I remember a million videos while Picard was being developed, and they're like, they fired this person, they fired this, they fired everyone, they fired Patrick, like they fired everyone but Patrick Stewart. I would have.
Now, what does that sound like? Now, to me, that sounds like what's happening currently with
Development.
Amazon's Lord of the Rings show. They fired the entire team. Now they're ordering rewrites for season 1 because apparently they're writing season 2 already.
I'm not sure how they're writing season 2 already when they haven't done season 1, but we've already talked about that.
Yeah, so it's kind of following the same trajectory. It seems like it's not looking good. I'm not. I don't. I no longer have high hopes for the Lord of the Rings. I do have higher hopes for it than Picard, though, because as far as I know, the Tolkien estate is still very protective of the property. So let's see how good of a job they've done being caretakers to the legacy of Tolkien.
Sworn Michael Chabon got kicked off, and yet his name is on not only most of the episodes, but specifically the later ones. And then I'm hearing him talk about developing season 2. So was that bum scoop, as we used to say in the Marines, or did he get fired and rehired? What's up with that? So the main thing I've got to say is I've probably enjoyed these 2 episodes more than any of them. And I don't know, I liked Nepenthe. That was a good one. And that slow start to the series is really paying off. Now, that being said,
Is it the?
I still call this show women
Is it
yelling
really
at
paying
men.
Maybe it didn't turn out that way, but it might have looked that way from the standpoint of episode 8 and 9.
Nothing
Maybe.
paid off. Nothing.
Yeah, at the end of the day, nothing actually did pay off, unfortunately. And this is like all these Android people. They're really annoying. All of them are really annoying. I'm glad some of them died. So you can't just can we just sacrifice all these weirdos? Can we just they had to sneak in like an oppression arc. This whole thing, the whole thing amounted to people being oppressed. Like they had to make a whole nother race of beings just so they can be oppressed and discriminated against. Just so we can make it woke as possible. And now that I'm hearing that they're making Picard like because they made him a synth at the end. They put like Picard's brain like an 80-year-old robot body, and I've been hearing they did that because for the sole reason of allowing Picard to experience discrimination and racism, so to speak, in season 2.
The whole thing is like, okay, so you're now a robot, but you're exactly the same as you were as a human. So you still have a back pain. You know, your leg still hurts if you put too much weight on it. You're still gonna die in like a couple of years. You still got poor eyesight. You need glasses still. What else? You also have you're still gonna have the brain disease, and you're still going to. Oh yeah. Also, we're gonna give you just that really stinky feet. You can keep those.
I think the only thing they said that changed was that they got rid of his that little brain tumor thing. I think it's the only thing that kind of changed about him.
What's the point in being an android If you still have fucking back pain, you're still 80 years old.
What they should have done was get a new actor to play Picard if they're going to do that. Well, why put Picard into like an 80-year-old body? That doesn't make any sense.
You shouldn't
Um,
need to kill off Picard in the first place.
Yeah, they shouldn't. He was a hero. He's a good guy, but you got to kill him off. He's a dirty man. And what they did, they should have cast a new actor to play Picard. They had every
No.
reason to.
No,
And then
no, they should just end the series. Just kill it. No, down, boy, dead, die, play dead.
it should have ended this. I like how they end the series sort of with Picard waking up from a dream. It should have been Picard waking up from a dream and said, "Wow, it's terrible. I'm glad that never happened." And then he just strolls away on his into his vineyard and happily ever after.
Yeah, like Luke, the last what we'll say about the Last Jedi with Luke is like he ends up waking up with a wife and kids.
Yeah, it tends to be the go-to fix for all these SJW nonsense. The NPC far leftist media, it tends to be like the preferred ending. Like, can we just forget it ever happened and have the good guy wake up and have a nice little family and a nice
Have a
life?
nice life.
Yeah, because their goal is to ruin these characters that we've known and loved for years.
No, some of the arguments I've heard for like why Luke shouldn't have wife and kids and happy ending is because apparently it'd be quotation marks cheap to have Luke have a happy ending in Star Wars where everything's always constantly unhappy. So you can't make that same argument. For start, that argument's fucking bullshit. And if you can't make the same argument for Star Trek because Star Trek is supposed to be this happy, nice view of the future.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like the optimistic. It's supposed to be utopia. It's supposed to be utopia. That's what we got rid of all our problems on Earth, and now we're solving everyone else's problems. Pretty much it. And now they're all failing. They have all these heroes have to be destroyed, dismantled right in front of our eyes, and we're supposed to be applauding it. So we're like, okay, well, we're supposed to be just accepting it because it's fiction or something. Oh, hello, Martin Dahl. Hello, welcome, new member Martin Dahl. Welcome. Glad to have you on board. I hope you enjoy the the custom emojis. Awesome. A semantic dragon, happy ending. And all of our heroes, like Luke and Picard especially, Picard especially, they need a happy ending or two. Okay, let's make them happy. Give them a wife and kids, or something. How come Picard couldn't end up with Beverly? I mean, she's still single, I think. What's wrong with that? Just have them finally. I don't know. It's better than what they got. What we got was just Picard being this lonely old man, lamenting with the failure of his life when he shouldn't really have done that. He did so many great things. He was seen as a hero, yeah, but they had to make a whole new thing to make him feel bad about. Oh yeah, he tried to make he convinced the Federation to do this thing where they saved all the Romulans. Well, poor Picard. That failed, sure, but he was trying to do the right thing. Why can't we just have him resting on his laurels of all of his successes and how wonderful he is, and then bring him down? How come he already has to be brought down to begin with? I don't know. They hate these characters. It seems they want to make the old fan base angry and to appease a fan base that has no money. I don't know what the strategy is, and it doesn't seem to be working. It doesn't seem to be working at all. ...
in space. That's what the show is. It's just men being yelled at and just standing there like simps and just taking it. And it's happened so many times that you just get used to it. Sometimes it'll be like the third time.
Archimad. She looks like someone just asked her to smile. Yeah, then you put it that way, she kind of does. She kind of does.
Time in the episode, and you're just like, oh yeah, this isn't normal. But it's transporters aren't realistic. That was just done as a way for budget saving in the original series. It's like, oh, this effect is cheaper than building a set or putting them in spacesuits. So fine, whatever. So it's a trope. The other thing I want to say is there's this big thing where even I've said this, that this doesn't seem to be Picard. It seems to be more like Patrick Stewart in space. But I mean, there's at least...
I said the exact same thing. Like the character we see in Star Trek Picard is not Picard. It's Patrick Stewart. It's Patrick Stewart in space. They even address his whole his whole don't you hate children thing? And he's like, yes, I hate children, but he's like really good with children. Like this is not Picard. This is Patrick Stewart playing a guy named Picard, trying to anyway. DJ M Voices, hail LD, hail chat. Well, hello, DJ M Voices. Welcome, welcome. Let's see here. Neil, hello, Neil. Could you say that you can see that the showrunners of Picard had sheer? Yes, I could. Easily, I could. The showrunners of Picard absolutely had sheer fucking hubris. Absolutely, without a doubt. Spitfire, Star Wars happy ending. Luke wakes up in his room a month after the Return of the Jedi, in cold sweat, screaming, and says, "Good thing Palpatine had no children in real life." That would have been fantastic. It'd be perfect. It'd be perfect. Demon Soldier, much nicer version. Fantastic. Appreciate that. Awesome. I'll keep a lookout. Let's see here. Tomorrow, Master DX, he's a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. Exactly. That's what Picard pretty much is doing in Star Trek Picard. He's like Patrick Stewart playing Picard, who's not Picard. It's a really strange situation.
It's 3 different Kirks. Why can't there be 3 different Picards? I mean, not only do you have the Chris Pine version, but if you watch the TV show and then the movies, the funny thing is in Star Trek, the motion picture, that Kirk matches the TV show quite well. But by generations, it's William Shatner. But then there's this other Kirk that's like not the TV show era Kirk, but like this other Kirk in like movies like 2 through 5. And then by generations, he's just 100%, William Shatner. Once, I realized that, and then I also had to do some headcanon that there was some sort of galactic Me Too movement that happens, let's say 10, 20 years before this. And
a galactic Me Too movement. I think I know where he's going with this.
All men everywhere are just terrified of women. Like they will not argue, they will not try to lead. Just whatever a woman does, just do it. It especially got hammered home. Do you remember that earlier episode where the Romulan brother and sister, she starts to choke her brother from the rear in a really easy to escape hold. I mean, you don't even really have to escape it. You can just kind of step backwards. And he just stood there and took it. Like if he would have defended himself, she could have been like, "Oh my gosh, you assaulted me." He's like, and his whole life is just over. So you have to imagine, number one, that there was this huge intergalactic Me Too movement.
Did I think about it? That makes a lot of sense. There's a galactic Me Too movement across species. Like Star Trek universe was, I don't know, maybe infected by some sort of ideology that caused some sort of galaxy-wide Me Too movement. Something, I don't know. Who knows what that is?
Left-wing activists. They say, "Nice hobby that you have. It's a little bit sexist, don't you think? Maybe you better let us in to fix it." Bitch, it wasn't made for you.
That makes a lot of sense, though. You see Picard is kind of like when he gets yelled at by the commander, the sheer fucking hubris thing, and then she just says this to a hero of the Federation. Just says this. There's a highly ranked leader of the Federation. Like she's a really highly ranked in the fleet, Starfleet. She just yells at him with no restraint, not even an attempt of any sort of restraint, and she gets surprised that Picard kind of barks back at her as if, "Whoa, this man actually stood up for something." Really strange. And you see this all over the place from then on. Picard just gets yelled at and he just sulks away. And that's what happens with all these other male characters. They get yelled at and they kind of sulk away. I don't know. Unless it's we're getting confronted by another male character. It doesn't really work out too well. Let's see.
Also, it works a lot better if you just imagine that every male character is paralyzed from the neck down. If they were all like in those Stephen Hawking chairs with that little weird straw that he commands things with, it would make it if Rios and Picard and Noonien Singh's son and not the ninja. I always see that. I forget that ninja's name. He's a Romulan, right? Romulan ninja with the long hair, the ponytail.
I mean,
I always
Elnor. His name is Elnor.
I mean,
Elnor.
Elf.
Elrond. Elves in space. I think the showrunner for Picard just really, really wanted to make Mass Effect and Lord of the Rings, and he's kind of like, well, I'll just do both. Why not just do both?
Why not both?
Yeah, I'll make a Mass Effect show. I don't want to do Lord of the Rings, but I only have one show to do, so I'll just put both together. And space elves and space orcs, that should work.
see him as Shatterstar. I keep calling him Shatterstar. Shatterstar is one of the members of X-Force created by Rob Liefeld. Every time I was like, that's Shatterstar. That is 100% Shatterstar. So we started to get a bunch of culminations. Now, some of them are the real obvious. It's like, oh my gosh, the Zat Vash set up the thing that framed the synths. Oh my gosh. But the other thing I like is spoilers. We meet the Stints, and some of them are quite malicious. This is not SJW. SJW is every refugee is an angel. But we've seen in that refugee camp that Picard went to that people had all sorts of different personalities and they were individuals. And when you make people individuals and you don't just have them all act the same and all act like
not entirely true. You might have seen them as some sort of bad guy or being portrayed as some sort of bad guy, but they're all supposed to be sympathetic in the eyes of the weirdos. The confrontational, hostile refugee is in the right for being confrontational and hostile. It's even shown to be that way. Like it's all Picard's fault, and then his death was be a tragedy.
Apparently, it's Picard's fault when. Was it Soji or whatever the fuck her name is, just assaults him. This old man. It's like, oh, it's your fault because, I'm surprised she didn't do more because, what was it? I can't remember what the fuck she was saying.
Yeah, but it's always Picard's fault. It always boils down to Picard's fault. It's always Picard's fault. He didn't come back in time. It's Picard's fault. Everything failed. If something goes wrong in the universe, it's all Picard's fault. According to the show, according to the writers of Picard, for some reason, DJM voices them, which is fine. I appreciate that. They basically wanted Picard and all white men to be the Cardassian file clerk, character from Duet, following your sword for someone else's crimes. You remember that episode, Shiny?
I remember the episode. Yeah, it's a good.
Excellent episode, in my opinion. Excellent episode. But I think the saving grace of season 1 of DS9. Basically, the story revolves around a Cardassian file clerk who pretends to be this horrible runner of a camp, who's actually wanted for war crimes in the Bajoran government, and he pretended to be that guy, so that he would be executed, so that his people would be punished. For all the crimes he did. The thing is, he went crazy.
They'd be humiliated.
Yeah, humiliated.
So, like if the Cardassians had someone who was really important that were captured by the Bajorans and executed, there'd be a laughing stock.
And then forced into an apology for for kind of like everything they did. And so I guess that's what they wanted. That's kind of what they wanted Picard to be. It's a guy to just take all the lashings, take all the punishment, and be like a whipping boy for target practice or whatever, for all the frustrations by these woke activists. Those woke activists?
Left-wing activists. They say, nice hobby that you have. It's a little bit sexist, don't you think? Maybe you better let us in to fix it. Bitch, it wasn't made for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't really go as far as say it's not made for them, because I honestly believe that anyone can just come and enjoy this thing of passion. But the thing is, like, you shouldn't come into someone else's passion and just come there to change everything, because then you're not making it what you're completely changing what it was.
Yeah, they weren't fans. People pretend to be fans, but they're not. They say, I love this franchise. I just want to change everything about it.
They're going to sit there and go, it was because of COVID. We don't know what happened. It's just suddenly coming. No. Left-wing activists came in and decided to take over this industry, spit in your faces, and destroy what you loved. Wake up.
Yeah, more or
It's like-
less.
It's just like a cat. Like he said, it's like, oh, don't change anything. Don't change anything. It's like, oops, change something. That character's now gay. Oh, sorry, that character's now Mary Sue. Sorry, what is this? What is this? Oh, well, your character that you loved is dead.
This unceremoniously too. He's just dead now. No last stand. No whole episode dedicated to it. Just in fact, you're lucky if he doesn't die off screen.
Before they're not even doing this to like I don't even think it's a term of like gender anymore, because even a fucking Ahsoka Tano, everyone was fucking pissed when they killed Ahsoka. Well, they inferred that Ahsoka Tano was dead in Rise of Skywalker when you hear her voice. I was one of the
noticed
people
that
who was
too.
pissed off. It's like, you motherfucker, you killed our character off screen.
Off screen.
And then Dave Filoni ended up having to come in and say, no, guys, don't worry. She's not dead. She's fine. She's fine. Don't worry. She's Skype calling. That's what she is. She's Skype calling. Okay, then that means she just kind of sat around on her ass for a while. It's like, oh, well, yeah, that's nice over there. Well, maybe I'll just stay over here with my kids.
It's just
And
forced
like,
Skype then.
Honestly, I want the reason why she's not in the sequel trilogy just because she's happy with kids. Like she found someone, she settled down, she had kids, she's like now has grandkids, and she's just living happily ever after.
That could be true as long as you keep Ashoka Tano out of the hands of Ryan Johnson or J.J. Abrams. Because if you put Ashoka Tano in the hands of Ryan Johnson, she's going to be Luke Skywalker 2.0. She's going to be a lonely old hermit who's going to die alone and forgotten. Sad. and
DGM
miserable.
voice is bitch. She should not have died in Rebels. I will fight you.
Did she die in Rebels?
No, she. I don't know if it's much of a spoiler at this point, but she had a fight with Vader, and it was very left open what happened. And then, in the World Between Worlds, Ezra pulled her out of the fight through time, and then ended up putting her back after Vader had pissed off.
There's time travel in Star Wars now.
So the World Between Worlds is not exactly time travel. While it could be used for time travel, it's not explicitly that way. It's a point which is outside of space and time, and there are certain nexuses that you can view and go to, but it's not. It's. I'm fine with it, but I understand why some people aren't. They're pretty much the whole point. I feel like they could have been, if they were going to do it, they needed to do more with it, because the only thing they really do with it is save Ahsoka. It's kind of they needed to do more with
break space and time. Break space and time. This is Ahsoka.
The reason why I'm somewhat more okay with it than other time travel things is that the way to get there is closed permanently. It's not like Tony Stark's time machine where he could just. There's no reason why they can't go back in time at any point, as long as they have the Pym particles.
Pym particles. You gotta have some Star Wars Pym particles. Let's see, Rock and Sinless for $4.99. Appreciate that. Show solidarity with George Floyd by kneeling. Wasn't someone taking a knee the same way he died? Yeah, taking a knee is not exact. It's like I don't know. What did Bill Hicks is like? It's like wearing a rifle for Jackie Onassis or something. Now I want to do some Photoshop of celebrities. Yeah, you get the celebrities. You make fun of them. You mock the celebrities. They're being horrible right now. I mean, more than usual, which is a pretty big deal. You didn't think the celebrities could get any worse, but they totally did. Our Master DX, what sounds worse? She died, or she didn't do anything? Didn't do shit this whole time. What do you think, Shiny? What would be worse? What would be a worse outcome?
Well, if she had like a some reason to not be doing anything, like getting like a family, grandkids, because again, she'd be like 90 at this point. It's like, yeah, nearing 90s at the very least.
I wonder how like would she really be like? Does her species age the same way as humans do?
I don't know. Some people say that they live longer. Some people say they live less. It's confusing. I don't even know.
I'd be interesting to see. I really want to see her. I hope she's actually in the Mandalorian.
Ahsoka is the only reference point we have for Togruta aging. So the only ones so for references we only have for aging are Yoda species, Wookiees, obviously humans because they age the same. I think Wookiees and Yoda species obviously live long. Yoda fucking 900 years old, but Togruta, again, I can't say for sure because we haven't seen on old Togruta. The oldest we've seen is Shak Ti, and she's more like in her 40s, I believe.
That's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the Mandalorian then, because I'm pretty sure she's gonna be in the Mandalorian. She's gonna be played by Rosario Dawson. That's gonna be interesting to see.
I want her to be voiced. I know they can do dubbing, but I want her to be voiced by Ashley Eckstein. I don't care who does the physical appearance, as long as Ashley Eckstein does the voice.
I guess we'll see where they go with it. But it's gonna be interesting. I wonder how old she's gonna be in the Mandalorian with the.
It's going to be interesting with Rex as well, because Rex is supposed to be in there.
I know he's in Rebels. I know he's like really old in Rebels.
So this is the confusion part. So I guess someone Adam has explained it. So Togruta have a lifespan of 84 years, so about the same as humans then, and the Force sensitive Togruta can live up to 200 years.
So okay. Rex and Ahsoka Tano are going to be in there. I thought clones didn't live that long.
Clones have they age twice as fast as humans. Well, Rex can technically be alive. He's going to be fucking ancient. However, I'm maybe they'll come up with some kind of excuse. Like maybe he will actually just be that old. Maybe because again he's in was it Return of the Jedi. He's one of the clones. He's one of the guys in the background. They made Rex purposely look more like a background character. He has the beard and everything, and he's disguised as a scout trooper. So he's alive then, and 5 years later, I suppose 5 years later, I'm like, fuck, he's aged 10 years. Maybe they've fixed it. Who knows? Maybe the Kaminoan came along and said, hey, look, maybe I'll fix your genes because that's a little fuck that you age twice as much as everyone else.
How long did the Clone Wars last? Did we
conclusive time? Almost 4 years.
No, that's it. This 4 years. Okay.
Well, it's still fucking pretty.
It's a long time. It's okay. Anyway, let's see what else we have on Star Trek Picard episodes 8 and 9.
Angels or victims, then it's not SJW. The whole women yelling at men thing is just,
so to explain it
is just really odd.
I believe that it's supposed to be the same amount of time that's passed between the release of episode 2 and 3, like 1 for 1.
Or is this to keep up with the timeline? So it took 4 years to come out.
Yeah, so it took 4 years to come out. The Clone Wars went on for 4 years.
Okay, I guess it makes sense. How old was it? I guess Ahsoka Tano was pretty young then, because she kind of aged significantly.
She started, I think, 14, and then when the Clone Wars ended, she's like 18.
That makes sense then.
I feel like that actually has to do with the real life Me Too movement. Like the men in Hollywood are just kind of scared of women, so they just kind of write. But I mean, there is a little pushback. Rios is actually getting some good depth to them. Honestly, I like this whole crew.
Rio does.
There's a weird thing where
he just sits there and takes it when people talk shit to him.
That's kind of his job. His job was to pretend to be a tough guy, and then drink, and then play everybody on board.
He just takes shit from the fucking people, and it's like, no, don't take this shit. Don't fucking do this.
Pretty much. That's right. I guess it kind of makes sense that there was this big, gigantic, galactic Me Too movement that made all these men into whipped dogs, because they kind of all are. And at least in Star Trek Picard, definitely not in Star Trek TNG or anything like that. I mean, especially not during the era of Cisco. But by the time Picard comes around, pretty much.
Like good luck fucking Cisco. God damn.
Yeah, he started breaking necks and stuff before people tell him what to do. He's a literal demigod. What are they going to do? Can't cancel a demigod.
one of the female characters murdered a man,
will try.
and people are kind of treating it like it's a misdemeanor. Like they're bothered, but they're bothered like
Yeah, the doctor murdered a guy. She murdered the guy they're going after. She murdered what's his name, Maddox.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh, you have to go to jail. You are going to pay for your crimes. And then Picard's like, you know what? Never mind. You forget it. That was like 2 episodes ago.
We didn't care about that guy anyway.
Yeah, he got kind of as a jerk. You know, it wasn't that cool in any way. Besides, that was 2 episodes ago. Okay.
It was fucking horrific. Like the way they killed him, as well. Why the fuck did she even kill us? Like, oh, to stop the androids because she's seen what is going to happen. It's like, okay, couldn't you maybe reason with him? You know,
Tell him or something. I got this
Yeah.
vision. Something bad's gonna happen.
Why did this vision make people fucking kill themselves? It's not even that bad. It's like, okay, there's going to be something coming. I get it. Okay, so why the fuck are you scraping? You're pulling your eyes out. You're pulling your skin off your face. You're making a pizza with that face, and you're cooking it up, smashing it against rocks. Some people are shooting themselves in the head. It's like, what the fuck is going? It's not that bad. So what the fuck? Why are they going crazy?
You know, I think there were some other things in there besides the vision. Like the vision was fine, but I think there was like some opinions I didn't agree with in there. That's my opinion.
Oh,
And it's like, the destroy world galaxy-wide destruction. That's fine. Wait a minute, an opinion I disagree with. I'm gonna pull my eyes out and destroy my own face. That makes sense, so, especially going by the it's right what you know. So that's what it seems like to me when when some of these people who wrote for Picard probably encounter an opposite opinion they don't like. Let's go ahead and ruin my own eyes. Just take them out. Just pluck them right out of my head.
Oh, we got to represent more people. Why don't you entertain people? Why don't you stop applauding yourself?
Yeah, if they could stop applauding themselves for 1 second and write something deliciously good, maybe they could actually sell this stuff. People won't be overwhelmingly complaining. Let's see here. Rocket Seamless for $1.99. Appreciate that. They are literally that weak in the future, I guess. That in Picard's time, it seems to be the case, especially in Picard's time.
like when you go to your buddy's house and you don't close the door all the way and some flies get inside the house and he's like, really, dude, really? And and kind of like passive aggressively he's like, you gotta pull it, and then this little hook comes in like, I need you to do this, bro. Like I almost feel like murdering a man is not actually a felony in this future.
That would make sense if there was a galactic Me Too movement. It was like, okay, you murdered a man, that's okay. It's like they can just wave it off. It's not all that bad. You murdered a man. If you were murdered a woman, then you'd be in big trouble. But you murdered a man, and it's all right. It's no problem. You sweep that under. You can sweep that under the rug. And see, Hex Harper, thanks for $4.99. Appreciate that. Want some diplomacy options for your Mass Effect clone? Nah, they don't. They do not give any options in Star Trek Picard. No, they don't. It's just happens. It just happens, and we got to stop it.
Sorry, Picard's face is tired from all of this.
My face is tired. I think it's wasn't there an actual line in Andromeda?
Yeah, that's the joke.
I wonder what the context for that was. Was it because they didn't want to actually do any animations, so they said, "Oh, my face is tired, so I'm not going to move it."
So the behind the scenes reason was, so the animations that they were designing, they were and the rig they were using was designed for Unreal Engine. It wasn't designed for Frostbite. So when they imported the animations to Frostbite, they were fucky, and they also fill in the areas which they didn't want to like animate. They used auto generation software. And what that does is it uses the sounds. So it knows when you say ah, your mouth is going to be in this position. It knows when you're going to say e, your mouth is in that. So it uses what words you're saying to move the mouth around in certain positions. However, it didn't work out very well. Probably because, again, something to do with Frostbite, because it's not designed to work on it. And it just ended up making the face go... It wasn't expressive because the eyes weren't moving. It only animates the mouth. It doesn't animate the eyes. So as she was saying, my face is tired. She was staring dead no other expression other than her mouth, and the mouth like protrudes out of the face. Like, have you ever seen what's his face? Pingu. Have you seen Pingu? I don't know if that's the thing in America.
I don't think so.
So it's like the mouth like protrudes away from the face. And it's a newt meme.
My face is tired. That's what happened. That's what happened. Because I know the animation of that game of Mass Effect Andromeda was a huge controversy because it was so bad.
Oh yeah, it was bad. So I'll see if I can send you this GIF, which is
Also, I heard it was really
I'll
woke
send you the
too.
link, actually. Yeah, it was like there was one character who was on the side, and it's like okay, in the Milky Way galaxy, I was Fred, and now in Andromeda, I can be Jane. It's like okay, so your entire reason for coming to Andromeda was so you could be a woman. So he could take a fucking scissors to his balls and make an origami vagina.
Yeah, can't do that in the regular galaxy. We're so fascist over
Also-
there.
Also, what kind of transgender person would go up to someone and just say, "Hey, look, I'm transgender. Hey, look, I used to be a man, and now I'm a woman. Hey, look, I'm transgender."
Here it is. Here's the animation. It's not that big, but I think you can get the idea. Hopefully, but yeah, the anime that's horrible stuff. Who talks like that? It's like their mouth is behind their mouth. It looks terrible. They should be ashamed of themselves. I'm pretty sure they charged $60 for that too.
You know, another thing they're missing from Picard, if they want to be Mass Effect, is like the renegade options. So Picard should be like get really pissed at like the Romulans. It's like, I'm tired of your disingenuous assertions, and fucking punch them in the face.
Yeah,
He
I
pulls
want
out a gun,
a
it's like,
I want a Picard
cut your
version.
balls off and sell them to a Krogan.
Exactly. I want Picard video game version where it can be like actual Picard, not this Patrick Stewart Paragon guy. I want an actual Picard. I'm pretty sure like actual Picard would be considered renegade in this universe because he has balls.
Just so the number said, it's like his theory is that the Andromeda project was to get rid of the undesirables from Citadel Society. It's like, yeah, just yeet all the people you don't want, like the retarded people, into space. You don't even need to fucking send them to Andromeda. Just send them into space. Make sure their engines fail halfway there.
Is that what? I guess that could work considering how bad the game was. Is your good imagination? My face is tired. That works. That works. Wonderful, it works. Rocket Sano, thanks for $1.99. I'm just imagining the Renegade ending for Picard. That'd be awesome. It'd be epic. Be way better ending than we got anyway. Way better ending. Let's see here. Ray Trinity needs to watch Pingu. The Newt. Let's see.
A man is not a felony, but arguing with a woman is. So one of the things that I just love is we get to see new stuff. So we go to this planet of the synths, and we meet this Soji sister, I guess, called Sutra, who has gold skin like Data, and she's just like a straight up kind of like villain. And I mean,
I
the
was gonna
actress
say
is
straight up
very attractive, but when she's
Now, what'd you say?
I was gonna say straight up bitch.
Yeah, but I think she's like portrays the. I think the writer thought she was the good guy.
They thought wrong.
I remember there was like someone made a tweet like, how come you made all these robots? How come you added in all these evil robots? Like, how come you made them all evil? And the guy, I think the showrunner said, "What evil robots?" So all the stuff that they do, everyone thought, okay, these are bad guys. These are all evil robots. You know, they wanted to summon this creature or whatever it is. That's going to wipe out all organic life, and that's evil. I mean, that's pretty evil. It's a pretty evil thing to do. And then someone says, well, "Why'd you make all the robots evil?" And then the showrunner says, "What evil robots?" So that kind of backs up my claim that, yeah, we might see them as evil. Your boy Zach might see them as evil and saying, okay, well, it's not HOW because they're being portrayed as evil. And then if this were SJW, then they would be portrayed as angels on earth. But thing is, SJWs don't think like we do. They don't think like regular people. They're where we see evil, they see heroes and paragons. So when this character wants to murder all the organics in the galaxy, that's her being heroic in the eyes of the writer. That's good in the eyes of the writer. These are the people who believe violence is wonderful. So yeah, that's kind of convinces me that she's supposed to be portrayed as like a sympathetic, heroic character. She just dies because of circumstances she can't really control. And see, Rocket and Taylor for $9.99 undesirables. So it's Mass Effect Australian. So well, yeah, I guess you could put it that way. I guess it's kind of how that would work then. It's like how the British sent all their criminals to Australia. The Mass Effect universe sent all their undesirables to Andromeda. As far away as possible. You don't need all these weirdos not just on Earth, but the entire galaxy should be free of these people. So we sent them to Andromeda. I guess that works.
Yep.
As the Occupation Army, welcome. The androids are Skynet. That's interesting. I guess it's like a Skynet still existed in this universe. That'd be interesting. See, Alex Halo. Hello, everyone. Well, hello, Alex Halo. Welcome. See, Light Yagami. The androids / cyborgs in Battle Angel Alita are way better than the androids / cyborgs in Star Trek Picard. Oh, I believe it. I'm pretty sure most things are better than anything in Star Trek Picard.
Yep.
He's dressed
Yep.
up like
No,
Sutra.
nothing
Oh
else
my
to say. Yep.
gosh.
And we don't even have to take a look at it. Everything is Picard. Star Trek Picard was. I thought it was going to be at least okay, and then it started off.
Literally, Devil, did you not watch Discovery? Did you not see
I didn't
the
actually.
pile of shit? And you okay? Oh, you didn't.
I didn't see
Okay,
Discovery.
well, maybe you can be forgiven a little bit, but holy fuck, Discovery! That was a whole fucking mess, and it was made by the same people like Alex Kurtzman. And Alex Kurtzman, I have a burning fucking hatred for that guy. Like all the shit he just says is. It's like, oh, it's literally impossible to follow continuity. It's like a bitch. You don't even follow your own goddamn continuity. You say it's impossible to make humanoid androids. You did it in Discovery. You like, oh, in what was it? TNG. It's like amazing that you have what was it? Data, who's like this robot, and he's like really impressive. It's like you have another robot person in Discovery. It's like, what the fuck is this?
And Data came out first. Like he was like the first humanoid android. His whole thing was searching for humanity, but he was pretty much a humanoid, all in all, but like skin color and behavioral issues. It's not impossible to follow continuity. He's just lazy. you could totally put in the work to follow most of continuity.
What's funny is when he says what he says. It's like it's literally impossible to follow continuity. There's like this woman behind him who just looks confused. Like, what the fuck's he on about?
It's not impossible to follow continuity. It is if you have no imagination and are a lazy producer who just wants a paycheck and to upset the fans. That's it.
No, he just doesn't. He doesn't want to make Star Trek. Star Trek to him is just a name that's going to get butts in seats. That's all it is, because it's got name recognition. He doesn't care if it's Star Trek or Star Wars. He just wants to make action. That's all he wants.
Apparently, he just he wants to make Lord of the Rings and Mass Effect. We only had one show to do it with. And see here, Al Dente, thank you much for the $4.99. Appreciate that. What if the Borg were the good guys trying to save and assimilate humans in their prime from the weak mess they saw them to become in the Picard future? Now, that is an interesting thought. That's a pretty interesting thought. What if the Borg was like, okay, we got to save humanity because they're strong now, but a few years from now, they're going to become simps. So they're going to become a race of loser simps, but we got to save them by assimilating them into a constant state of awesomeness. That is
Save
the Borg.
the rebellion. Save the dream.
That's how the Borg started, because no one knows how the Borg started, so maybe that's how it started. It's like one guy's like, okay, I gotta save the dream, gotta save the human race. In order to do that, I have to assimilate them all. Because if I don't assimilate them all, they're gonna be tough until they become simps, and that's gonna be the end of it. And see, Hex Harper, they should die
But then
99.
wouldn't they all just be Sims for the queen?
But at least it'll be tougher, I guess. They have a queen. I guess that's true. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the other way around. Who knows? Why can't the Borg have a king? What's wrong with a king? Maybe that's sexist, I guess. Hex Harper, they should die 99. What would make the game's new crew the Insufferables? Make the game's crew the Insufferables. Would that make the game's crew the Insufferables? I guess so. Like from a Mass Effect Andromeda, I suppose. I guess that could be. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Let's see.
Wow, she looks amazing. So we get some nice action bits with Borg and Seven of Nine being like a temp agency Borg queen for 5 minutes. Although they do get memed. They're like, release all the Borg, and then the Romulan woman is like, jettison them all into space. It's like, wah, wah. You get some cool ships flying through wormholes or something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It's like, okay, oh, they have this awesome plan. They're going to release all the Borg and defeat all the bad guys, and then she's like, send them all into space. And then, if that wasn't bad enough, it was what is wrong with the Borg Queen? Like they attach themselves to Seven of Nine, and okay, cool, we have a Borg Queen again, and then they say, it is not your time. We're going to let you go because of plot reasons. You're free to go. What?
Fuck off. We don't like you here. This wasn't made for you.
How does that work? Does the Borg just says, you know what? We let you in for a little bit as a trial run, but we're not going to accept you anymore. It's not going to work. You're too horribly written to be the Borg Queen. And to hear,
Yeah, it's like when we thought they were going to get like the 7 of 9 from Voyager, and it's like, oh yeah, we really want that. And it's like they get their 7. And it's like, sorry,
exactly.
Yeah, you murder people now. We don't like you.
Yeah, it's like we wanted 7 of 9 from Voyager, but we got cool, edgy, contemporary 7 of 9 who drinks and curses and murders people. That's more mature, bro. No, we wanted 7 of 9 from Voyager because that she was like the only person that was really well written in that show.
Even then, she got the fucking reset. She would learn a lesson about humanity, and then like she would just reset at the end of the episode.
Yeah, she just forget
I
it.
would say the best written character in Voyager was the Doctor. Like,
Yes.
straight up, he actually had character progression. The only character in that show that changed.
And it really helped that he was played by Robert Picardo, who was amazing.
I love Robert Picardo. Even in like Stargate, I loved him. He was great in Atlantis.
Let's see, Loquacious Primate. Thank you very much for the 5. Appreciate that. Alex Kurtzman literally says in the STD Season 1 DVD commentary that they wanted to do things that were, quote unquote, awesome, even if it compromised continuity. Well, if I hired a showrunner who said that, they would be fired. You don't just do things that are
I
awesome.
would say, what the fuck did you just say to me? Get out of my sight.
The sheer fucking hubris.
A nice attack by these like space orchids, which was actually pretty darn cool. Some good digital matte paintings. I was actually really.
See, I told you. Is it now you're seeing why that your boy Zach has gotten kind of an infamous reputation of liking bad movies? He likes the flowers.
I like flowers.
He likes the flowers in the show. That now that you've seen with your own eyes and heard with your own ears, what the fact that he kind of has bad takes on movies, but he can still see Picard for what it is. So it's it's bad when a guy who loves bad movies thinks
It's
Picard's
like,
bad.
It was when like I suppose Angry Joe's definitely got himself like a certain reputation, and when he says something is SJW, it's just like because he fucking like all the drama he's caused, like going against like certain creators, like the Quartering and some others, and like how like bad he is against Trump and like some certain geeks. It's like if he calls it SJW, you know for a fact that it's bad.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's see here. Neff Champion, welcome. But what could be more awesome than awesomeness that fits in the universe you're fighting for? You're writing for. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with having awesome things in there, but why can't you just have awesome things in there that adhere to continuity? Because it's literally impossible to adhere to continuity. Well, that's not true. You're just literally lazy.
All right, then you're out. Then you don't deserve. If you think that's impossible, you don't deserve to write this show. Bye bye.
Yeah, if you think it's impossible for your talents, and you obviously lack the talents to do this job, I'll go find someone who doesn't think it's impossible. There are plenty out there.
Really happy with these 2 episodes. As long as you understand that there was an intergalactic Me Too movement and all the men are terrified of women, like just terrified of them all the time. It makes a lot more sense. Now there is a thing where all of a sudden Soji kind of like, she had like a personality change and she's real abrasive, but they do explain it quite well. She's like, she doesn't feel like she can trust anyone. And she's had these like protocols unlocked. She now realizes she's a Sith.
Stupid. Again, she just fucking pushes Picard for like no reason, and then she gets fucking Troy defends her for it.
What was it with that, Troy? Why are you turning on Picard, Troy? What's with that? Don't you know what kind of hardship he's going through? He's the one who saved her. He's the one saving her life. Like he's the one going around doing everything for her.
Oh, she doesn't know who to trust. Like Picard fucking saved your life. He came out of nowhere from your perspective. He then whisked you away from the people who were trying to fucking murder you.
Like Troy and Riker should both be on his side, not Troy saying, "Wow, you're a terrible person for doing all that. How dare you, Picard? Like, how dare you, Troy?" And he's doing all this stuff. He didn't have to do this stuff. He didn't have to. He's an old man. He doesn't have to do any of this. He let the universe die, and who cares? Why would he care? Universe forgot him. Everyone's just yelling at him. Everything is his fault. Why should he care? He's doing it out of the kindness of his heart. That's Picard. He does the right thing. And see, DJ and Voices, they went to 5. They left out the scene where Chakotay dumped 7-9, and she got on the Borg, the ex-Borg feminist message boards. Context matters. Apparently, what happened to Chakotay? Like, what happened to that guy?
I don't know.
I guess she got on the feminist message boards and the Borg message boards. I'm pretty sure those exist. She started complaining about men. And the Borg Queen's like, uh-oh. Yeah, message board history discovered. Ejecting Annika Hansen.
And then what I actually thought was really cool is they have this thing about this thing called the admonition. I really like this part. So the admonition is this trial that the Zhat Vash go through, and it's rough. Like you get to see these visions, but people blow their brains out. They smash their.
It's stupid because they blow their brains out. But why the fuck are they even showing these people these visions if they're gonna fucking kill themselves? Like you may as well just not show them, and then they're not gonna kill themselves, and then you have agents. You just tell them. You don't need to show them. You just tell them. It's like, hey, look, we could use your help. There's this weird tentacle alien thing with like fucking Dr. Octopus arms coming out of portals. So yeah, so we need some help stopping that. It's like, oh yeah, sure, we'll help.
They live in the Star Trek universe. Like a weird entity that comes out of nowhere, destroy things. It's not all that out of the ordinary. They were fighting things like the crystalline entity, and that literally ate planets and stuff. They encountered Q. They encountered the Borg. This whole thing about they're supposed to be secret police too, so they should know about this stuff. This whole thing about they're going to kill themselves because they saw this weird thing from another dimension. That should be just like a everyday Star Trek stuff. That's not even all that bad or all that different. The only thing that makes them different is that there's flowers.
But no, it had to be the Reaper beacon the Prothean beacon from Mass Effect. It had to show you a vision, and it glows. Fuck, the thing even glows green. Like the Prothean beacon.
Yeah, he just wanted to make Mass Effect the TV show. That's what he wanted.
But it's not even Mass Effect. It's not even that. It's like what It's not even Mass Effect. I will fight someone if they dare call this shit Mass Effect. I understand Mass Effect has its problems. Believe me, it does. But holy fuck, this is not it. Not like Picard.
It's
I would
Mass
take
Effect,
Mass Effect.
Lord of the Rings Mass Effect. That's what it is.
I would take Mass Effect 3 any day over Picard. At least that has some redeemable moments. At least has funny
Skulls
parts.
Yeah, Mass Effect has some enjoyable moments in there, but Star Trek Picard, not really that many. Very few to find anyway.
And or they just kind of go crazy. And only that Romulan sister kind of survived. And they see it as a portent of
Uh-oh. Come on here, Nagas.
which it is.
You're fine.
But
You were
it's
still
because
there.
their human minds
What'd you say?
You know, you were still there. The video was just.
Oh, okay. Just making sure they didn't take us down again.
can't handle it. When a synth goes through it, they see that it's a fairly simple message from a kind of advanced synth race. If you ever get in trouble, call us here and we'll wipe out all of your non-synth enemies. So again, nobody's being portrayed as an angel, although Starfleet just gets darker and darker. Rios is the way he is because his captain was ordered to murk 2 synths. Talk about first contact. That's first person shooter contact. But honestly, I think it's
What
done.
the fuck was that joke? No offense, but that was a terrible joke.
And it's part of the charm of your boy Zach.
Maybe we move a watch now.
It's working for me. It's working, and I'm actually really looking forward to season 2. It works. You know, Patrick Stewart, he's old, so it doesn't really rely on him. I think the other characters are very rich, and Raffi is just like, I've just got the biggest crush on Raffi. Like, it's ridiculous.
Oh, now we know why he likes the show.
But
Oh, he has a crush.
Yeah, a little bit.
Why Raffi though? Maybe you understand Soji, and they even have like a scene with her like in her undies because she had sex with the Romulan guy. But why Raffi?
Oh, your boy Zach has certain tastes. And I think Raffi probably fits into that category for some reason.
Okay.
I guess your boy Zach has a thing for drug-addled weirdos.
Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna blow my brains out like a Romulan over here.
And you know, they got the perfect character, the perfect actor to play this character, because the moment I saw this character, it's like, whoa, she's on meth or something. Like, she's on some sort of drug, and she turned out to be addicted to something. So I was like, she has that face. She's like one of those faces like you see in, like, I don't know, Breaking Bad, where they're like really strung out and drugged up, like really like the meth face, really bad case of meth face. That's what she had.
I'm liking it. I'm really liking it. I think it's the first solid success of this CBS All Access. I don't give a damn about Star Trek Discovery season 3. Although if they do that Captain Pike show, that will be so cool. But anyway, yeah. So it's definitely recommended.
Are we gonna because I sent you a video with from Dave Cullen about it.
Oh, you did? Let me see here.
Yeah, I can. I don't know if you're on Discord right now.
Oh, here's it. David Cullen. There it is.
Yeah, I've also sent you the clip of why did we do this?
Let's check it out. I think we're done with your boy Zach for now. Let's check out this video for a little bit, see where it goes. Think we'll all enjoy it. So I guess he breaks down Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, no, he's
Strange New
talking
World.
about the new show.
Strange New
Like
World, the one with like Pike and stuff. Okay. Let's check. I haven't seen David Cullen in a long time. I didn't even know he was still around.
Himself to David Cullen.
Let's see here. Make sure everything's up.
Recently been announced that another new Star Trek series is in development, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. It's a spin-off of Star Trek Discovery featuring Captain Pike, played by Anson Mount, Number 1 played by Rebecca Romijn, and Mr. Spock played by Ethan Peck. This series will obviously take place on board the Starship Enterprise, and it's set in the years prior to Pike handing over command of the ship to Captain Kirk in the original series. So it's yet another prequel. This time, however, there does appear to have been some fan appetite for it. I say some because it has to be said, Anson Mount's Captain Pike was one of the few components that actually worked quite well in the second season of Discovery. He felt like an actual Star Trek character. He delivered his lines and portrayed the role in a way that was very Star Trek indeed, and his version of Pike is very likable, and he's a really good actor. I was less sold on Ethan Peck's Spock, although he did start to grow on me. I think Rebecca Romijn's performance as number 1 was solid as well. The design of the Discovery Enterprise has also been praised by many fans. I think the updated bridge that we saw in the season finale is reminiscent of the original, while still being a substantial visual design improvement. But let's be honest, if the same people behind Discovery and Picard are also behind Strange New Worlds, then really, what's the point? The show is expected to be returning to the more optimistic view of Star Trek rather than the current eye-gougingly depressing Trek we've been.
Yeah, there's Ichib's death scene. So, yeah, if it's going to go back to the optimistic view of Star Trek, I am all for that. That would actually be Star Trek.
Yeah, but like another thing about Icheb's eye is that he never had his eye removed. So I don't know why his eye is robotic. Like,
don't you know that it's impossible to keep up with continuity, Shiny? Don't you know that?
Fuck you. But like it's only 7 of 9 has that robot eye. Like it's not the kids, because the kids didn't have any. Because they were in the maturation chambers, they didn't get assimilated properly. They didn't have any attachments. They were still all their body parts were there, just with the internal things.
Well, maybe Ichib since then got into some really kinky stuff. We don't know. Okay, much for the 2. Appreciate that. My YouTube notifications not working. Yeah. I'm not surprised. Not surprised. I'm a bad guy, Chad. I'm a bad guy. We're all bad guys. Okay.
Oh, you are the devil again.
Exactly. That's why YouTube tries to ghost me. But you know what I'm also?
I'm fucking Ahab. I'm Captain Ahab of the blue-haired land whale.
That was a perfect setup.
I love that clip. I love that.
Me too. It's fantastic.
I'm fucking Captain Ahab.
I'm Ahab.
I'm fucking Ahab. I'm Captain Ahab of the blue-haired land whale.
Fucking Jabba the Hutt as well.
Yeah, it's
Jabba the Triggered.
Blue-haired Jabba the Hutt.
I just call it Jabba the Triggered now.
Jabba the Trigger. Yeah, that's fantastic. Fantastic. I love it.
Getting lately, and the series will be composed mostly of standalone episodes rather than the serialized seasons that Secret Hideout have produced with Discovery and Picard. And I think that will be a welcome change because it's a return to Star Trek's roots. The issue ultimately all comes back to the quality of the writing. Discovery.
Okay, so before we get into that, that sounds awesome to me so far. Strange New Worlds sounds awesome because it's going to go back to what Star Trek is supposed to be. Enough of this stuff, this fantasy nonsense, where it's elves and it works in space, and enough of that weirdness of everything's dark and brooding. We have enough of that. I'm tired of this nihilism stuff. Okay, nihilism only works if it's the bad guy. We want meaning.
Why the fuck would we want? So the world's depressing. Like quite literally, right now, America's on fire. It's everything's a mess. Why would you want to go inside and look outside your window? You look outside your window and there are people screaming and violence and shooting and everyone's angry. Do you want to? At least for me, not for me. I live in beautiful Yorkshire. I just open my window. I've got sun. I've got birds tweeting. I don't need to worry about that. But America's anyway. The real world is horrible. It's depressing. It's bleak. You know, like
Use a
look,
little, use a little
look.
optimistic future right now.
Yeah, you look outside. It's like, oh look, it's a cute little rabbit. All of a sudden, and all of a sudden, it's ripped away. It's fucking murdered. It's blood, guts everywhere. It's watership down. So the real life is horrible.
The riots happened.
the real life is horrible. Like it's bleak and depressing. So why can't we turn on the TV and we see something and it's escapist? We turn on Star Wars because it's an amazing adventure in another world. We turn on Star Trek because we want this optimistic view of what, we want this dream of that, through all these horrible things that are happening, that there's going to be something at the end of it where everything's going to be fine, everything's going to be okay, and we want to live in this world of almost perfection where everyone's happy. There's no people don't worry about money, they don't worry about food, they don't worry about keeping the rent on time. They don't have to worry about their house, they don't have to worry about homelessness, they don't have to worry about any of the things we trivially worry about in the day-to-day. They could just get on with their lives. Why can't we have that?
That's why pulp fiction novelists were so popular during the Great Depression, because we didn't want to go to depression into the books filled with depression. We want to go into from the Great Depression into books filled with like awesome characters who fought bad guys and always won and were they had a moral righteousness, black and white morality, good guys versus bad guys, good guys defeating bad guys, that sort of thing. You wanted escapist fiction that brought us to a more utopian outlook. So people liked Star Trek in the first place. We like his utopian outlook. Loquacious Primate, thank you for the 5. And don't forget, Kurtzman also stole the SED premise from the indie game Tardigrade, which brought CBS to a lawsuit still on appeal from the game creator. Yeah, I heard of that.
I heard about that.
Yeah, that they actually went to a lawsuit over the fact that he might have just went ahead and stole the entire story and premise from another entity or media. So that's true.
Should be fired from his job. I don't know why the fuck he hasn't already.
I have no idea. It's ridiculous, especially when he said, it's impossible to keep continuity. It's not impossible. You're just lazy and bad at your job.
There are parts of Deep Space Nine is amazing, and there are certain parts of Deep Space Nine that still get continuity wrong. But by God, the rate you fuck up continuity, Alex, is so much worse than everything else. Like Voyager didn't even fuck up as much as you fucked up. Like even then, the continuity things they fuck up are relatively small. They don't affect the world that much. It's just a mistake. But the way you fuck things up, fuck everything.
It's terrible. You can't even keep the continuity straight from one episode to the next. It's pretty awful. Characters are they change from one moment to the next. They have total different. They're written totally different. There's no consistency. Like the Doctor goes from timid, modern fangirl stand-in to really rigid person who curses all the time, because they all have to curse all the time. Of course they do. But she goes from a quirky fangirl stand-in to murderer, and I want to get this way more serious character. It doesn't feel like another facet of a personality. It just feels like another person altogether. It's ridiculous. And then what was that? Remember that whole thing at the end of Picard, where Raffi's like, "I love you," and then Picard's like, "I love you too," and then that's it. They kind of had that little exchange, and then they
I don't know what that was for. Why was that a thing?
Just because
apparently Picard also loves Data, and apparently Picard also loves this person and that person. Apparently Picard is just apparently he's senile.
Everyone just loves everybody in that show. It didn't look like it, but apparently that's the case.
But apparently Raffi didn't love Picard because 5 minutes later she's going to get fucked by 7 of 9.
But maybe she doesn't love 7 of 9. Maybe she's she's lusts after 7 of 9.
I mean, I think a lot of people lust for 7 of 9.
Probably.
Was an abysmal show, and Picard, for me, was a painful vandalization of the franchise that I'd rather forget about. These shows have little to do with the ethos and values of Roddenberry's original vision of the franchise. Though Star Trek Strange New Worlds might very well be a series that attempts to restore the hopeful, optimistic vision of the franchise and deliver something that at least looks and sounds more like Star Trek, but I have no faith in the people who will produce it. As Midnight's Edge has pointed out, one has to wonder if this series will even see the light of day, given that the Section 31 series, featuring Michelle Yeoh as Philippa Georgiou, seems to be stuck in limbo for a long
I just went like Section 31 series, awesome. Oh, it's gonna be that lady. Okay. It's like that Peter, like Family Guy.
The thing is, it's not Section 30. I keep saying that the Section 31 Discovery is not fucking Section 31. It's like it. Why do they have ships? Why are they publicly known? Why are these things? Why are they doing?
They're publicly known in Discovery?
Yeah, they pull out a little tag and it says, "Oh look, it's Section 31." Now we know it's serious. Like no one fucking knew about Section 31.
It's supposed to be like a myth. It's supposed to be like a myth.
Supposed to have ships. Yeah,
they don't even have a central headquarters. There's kind of like like this faceless entity, like a network of agents or something.
No, but they have their own ships. They have their own crews. They have their own captains. Now they have stealth ships.
Well, they just turned them into what the Obsidian Order turned them into Tal Shiar. They're not. They don't function that way.
Yeah, I would say that even like they're worse than the Tal Shiar and the Obsidian Order, because the Obsidian Order, like they're publicly known, but the 31 they hide behind Federation ideals while doing these horrible things, and they're not even known.
Oh, I'm really glad I didn't watch Discovery. It seems like they mess up everything in that show.
They do.
I could just sense out the toxicity from here. I was like, nope. I could never feel it. They turned orcs into Trump supporters. I don't think it's going to be all that great to be watching that.
The Klingons, they made Klingons Trump supporters. Remain Klingon. So Klingons had this brilliant, brilliantly sophisticated culture.
Yeah, it was like the best race in Star Trek. They're so cool.
They had, because it's one episode where they have to infiltrate the Klingons. It's like, you insult me. You're standing so far away from me. You're slouched. You can't even look at me when you talk. Are you afraid of me, or do you not think me a threat? Or do you not respect me? And it's like, very good captain, with strong voice. However, if you don't, was your intended to fight me to the death? It's like, maybe don't strike me in the back of your hands.
Yeah, that's right. They're trying to pretend to be Klingons.
There's so many complications to Klingon culture, and it's so deep, and it's well written. And then they come along, they trash all that. They say, "Sorry, did you like this? They like this," and then it's the cat analogy. They just push it over, and it's like, "Oh well, then they're Trump supporters. Remain Klingon."
And you weak-ass fat-beard cucks who let these bitches come in here and make it unhospitable. Tell the fans that they're Nazis if they don't like their characters being destroyed.
Yeah, something like that. That's how that got ruined. The guys at the top, they all wanted office girlfriends, and so they hired people in to ruin everything. Because a nice hobby you have here, a little sexist, don't you think? And they started changing everything. They started changing everything.
Shame if something was to happen to it.
Yeah.
Shame if I was gonna fucking piss all over it. Thank you.
It'd be a real shame if someone, I don't know, were to say this whole hobby is sexist and then get it trending on Twitter. You wouldn't want that now, would you? That wouldn't be something you'd want. Right?
So, while it did not go exactly like that, that's exactly how it went.
Pretty much. There's no one there to stand up for themselves. No one there to say something like, I don't know.
I'm fucking Ahab. I'm Captain Ahab of the blue-haired land whale.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, Dan Fraga. You know why. Oh, welcome, Dan Fraga. Welcome. Anyways, continue. Let's see what else Cullen has to say.
Long time now, and to be honest, I don't think there's a great appetite for a Section 31 show. It's easy to announce the green lighting of a
Well,
series.
no, not right now. Not during this horrific era of media. Because Section 31 is awesome. I really want a Klingon show, but I don't want a Klingon show in again this horrific era of media because it's going to ruin it.
Yeah,
It's going to make it into
gonna
woke
be fucking-
nonsense. It's going to be
like
terrible.
Klingons. Ugh. Especially if they're going to be Discovery Klingons. Oh god, if they're Discovery Klingons. Oh.
Remain Klingon, okay? I'm with them. I'm with these weird Klingons from Discovery.
sorry.
Remain Klingon, okay, guys?
I'm sorry if I keep ranting about this, but the way they just fuck up so much. It's like, oh, why are Klingons bald? They were never bald before. Or at least, like Klingons used to have like this very nice luxurious hair.
They
Then,
all
like,
did.
you've seen the what was it? Who's the guy who makes all those clips? Major Grin. Major Grin, like he created this clip where he photoshopped the new Klingon onto Worf's head. And it's like, I was just telling my friend how thick and luxurious Klingon hair is, and it's like it's just completely bald and horrible. And it's like, okay, Alex, so why is there no Klingon hair? It's like, okay, oh well, they shave it during wartime. Like what? But okay, in the first
No.
episode they weren't at war, and then in other things they didn't shave their heads. Why the fuck would they shave their heads in war? Why?
I don't
That's
know.
Stupid.
They never did before.
Like, oh, I'm gonna go to war. Better shave my head. Wouldn't want
Oh.
my fucking locks to be grabbed by someone in a fight, despite the fact that mainly using ranged weapons.
I mean,
No.
DS9, they all went to war. The whole series went to war. No bald Klingons. Not a single one, as far as I
Yeah, like
remember.
not when they went to war with the Cardassians, not when they went to war with the Federation, not when
Went to war
they
with Dominion.
fucking went to war with the Dominion. Goddamn.
Bunch
Alex
of hairy
Kurtzman.
Klingons went to war with all these
Oh, no,
these
they
people.
did treat them as a serious threat, obviously. And oh
Did
my
they?
god, I keep reminding things that just piss me off about that fucking show. The architecture of that ship. Why do they look like the Goa'uld? It's like old Egyptian. It's all gold and blacks. It's like, why are they the Goa'uld? Why are you doing this, Alex Kurtzman? Are you a fucking SG-1 fan? Like, go make SG-1. No, don't go and make Stargate.
No, I think
stay
it's
away
like the Ryan Johnson of Star Trek. Let's see here. Hex Harper, thank you for 5. Appreciate that. How much you want to bet the Pike series would be all optimistic and hopeful? Then Kirk shows up at the end and implies that it all goes downhill. I would not be surprised if that actually happened, considering how they write Star Trek.
I don't think it's going to exactly happen that way, but I also think that's exactly how it's going to go.
Everything's always got to be bleak and hopeless and dark with these people, because everything's bad. Everything's bad in the world, chat. Everything's bad in the world. So we got to make Star Trek bad. Can't have optimistic futures in Star Trek, or else it's racist or something. I don't know.
And have good media.
Yeah, can't have good media. Good media is racist. Okay.
But not in a gay way or anything.
No, of course not.
Yeah, it goes without saying.
Let's see, Alex Halo, thank you for the 5. Appreciate that. Gilgamesh did nothing wrong trying to reset all of humanity, and Shiro trying to end the world also did nothing wrong. I think this is the Fate Stay Night reference. That sounds really cool, actually. I think we'll be continuing Danganronpa this weekend, so we get a little bit further, see how far we can get. Then after that, hopefully we can finally get to Fate Stay Night. Because it's definitely a cool game. Hopefully, but I have heard it's not safe for YouTube. But we'll see where it goes.
It's an entirely different matter to successfully secure funding. So long as the current writers and producers are in charge of the franchise, a franchise that has recently alienated many of its core fans, then I would have little hope for Star Trek's future. I think we need a clean slate. The appalling excuse for Star Trek that we've been getting since 2009 has to be declassified as non-canon in order for the show to, I suppose, restore fan faith and belief in it. So I would break it down to something like this: 3 categories: canon, prime, and Kelvin. Canon is all Star Trek production.
Hold on, Q2 Debay, welcome by the way. They look shitty. Apparently, the reason they look that way is because the copyright issues. Is that why? The works look that way?
I'll
Klingons.
explain behind it. So part of when I can't remember the exact company. It was maybe Paramount. Okay, so the company that owned CBS and Paramount originally, they they gave the license to the films to like one company, and then they gave the films to the other, and then but that was fine because they both had the same parent company. But then the parent company split, and when the parent company split, they had to work out what the fuck they're going to do with Star Trek. So they gave the film license to Paramount and the TV license to CBS. But then to work things out, because they still want to sell toys, because the original toys from TNG still rake in a lot of money. So in order to not mess with the toy sales, they have to have a 25% difference. Oh, sorry, like not 25, it's 15% difference at least. So they can't have anything that's totally same as the original, which is why Enterprise has to be slightly different. They had to work out a special license for what's it called, the Galaxy class. So that they did have to be a bit different, but they didn't have to be that fucking different.
They're like a whole nother species altogether.
Yeah.
They need to be that different. Okay, they can look like better Klingons or something. Those are not Klingons. I saw how they look in Discovery. I haven't seen Discovery, but I saw how they look in Discovery. Those are not Klingons. Those are something completely
not my
different.
Klingons.
What do you say?
Hashtag not my Klingons.
Yeah, not my Klingons. They're just rough and coarse and get everywhere.
They get everywhere.
Is he Alex Halo? Thank you much for the 5. You just got to make sure you didn't get the patch that pulls the hentai scenes back in, and or get the one that doesn't have the hentai scenes. You mean I should make sure I don't get the ones that don't have the hentai scenes? Yeah, I'll see. I'm pretty sure I have the. Hopefully, I have the one that is safe for YouTube. I'll check it out though. I'll check it out. Make sure it works. But thank you very much for that, Alex Halo. Appreciate it.
From 1966 to 2005. So that's the original series, the animated series, The Next Generation, Deep Space.
Very good, Christopher Cole. 25% different apparently equals 100% not Star Trek. Exactly.
So one thing I want to make kind of clear is so it gets kind of complicated now because there was a remerging with the CBS and Paramount. So now they're under the same parent company again. But the thing is, while they're not under the same company, because of the contract they had, they have to stay with that contract. And they can break the contract, but that would mean they have to stop making Discovery and Picard and anything that was made in that license. So it'd have to invalidate the films and the new shows at the same new films, sorry, and the new shows. But it would leave everything else fine. But they didn't want to abandon the new shows. They still don't want to.
That makes sense. More in like a convoluted sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see here.
Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, and the first 10 feature films. Star Trek The Motion Picture, The Wrath of Khan, The Search for Spock, The Voyage Home, The Final Frontier, The Undiscovered Country, Generations, First Contact, Insurrection, and Nemesis. Prime is Discovery, Picard, Lower Decks, Section 31, and Strange New Worlds, assuming those last two actually get made. Kelvin is obviously the Kelvin film franchise, Star Trek 2009, Into Darkness, and beyond. If the franchise ever does finally find itself back under the stewardship of talented sci-fi writers and producers who know Star Trek intimately and have a genuine passion for it and understand the tone and philosophy of the series.
Yeah, but understanding the tone and philosophy of the series and having passion for it is racist. So I don't think they'll ever do that. If they do that, they'll just prove to everyone that they've been racist this whole time. Talent is racist, chat. Talent is racist. And because you didn't know.
Maybe they've made it. I think they've made it clear enough now.
Yeah.
Why hire people on merit? Why would you do that? Why'd you do any of that?
That's racist. It's hiring on merit is racist. You have to check off like 10 boxes first.
Like hiring off talent. The obvious question is, why did we do this?
Why did they do this? See, John Doe. In order for a secret hideout to be cut out of the toy profits, they had to be 20% different and had to pay the license things like Tribbles and couldn't make money from Tribble toys. Hmm. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Why would they? They can't
it's
make money from Tribble
complicated.
toys. Those are awesome toys. I think they would be anyway.
It's complicated. It's very. I don't even know the whole fucking thing. Again, people probably know more than I do.
Yeah. Anyway,
Then they should continue to produce new shows and films under the canon category and simply ignore the Prime and Kelvin categories as they are separate Star Trek universes. Now, of course, Prime and Kelvin are connected to each other through the events of the 2009 film and the Countdown comic book, but they don't have to be in any way connected to canon Star Trek. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to make a brief video giving you my thoughts on the announcement.
yeah. So far, the Strange New Worlds concept sounds good because they're going back to the optimistic future of.
Oh, but it's Alex Kurtzman. It's Alex Kurtzman. I don't trust him.
I
Why?
wouldn't
Why?
either.
Why would anyone?
I wouldn't either. He's already failed us twice. He's already stabbed us in the back twice. It seems. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be getting ready as Star Trek fans for a third knife in the back. I'm pretty sure that's where it's going. And see, Alex Halo, thank you much for the 5. Also, Shiro, the protagonist of Stay Night, ends the world in the Magical Girls spin-off movie, but not the game. Is it something you do in Fate Stay Night? Just kind of end the world, maybe? That's interesting. And I like there's a Magical Girl spin-off. Anyway, Chad. Anyway, can we go take this down right now? And let's make fun of this for a little bit. We don't have to go through the whole thing, but it's pretty
I'm
amusing.
open to make fun of anything right now.
So, do you remember Ghostbusters Shiny, like 2016 version?
I don't know. That's that. I don't remember that. Please.
Just purge it from your mind.
Yeah, I just thought about it, and it never happened.
Did you know that? Did you know how it was a horrible, horrible box office failure?
Mm,
Do you know why? Apparently, it failed.
a straight white man.
No, actually, well, sort of, I guess. It's because, according to Paul Feig, it was, of course, racism. Racism did it. Now, yesterday it was because of Hillary Clinton and that everyone hated women because everyone hated Hillary Clinton. But today, it's racism. I don't know what it's going to be tomorrow, but why his movie failed, I don't know what's going to be tomorrow. Like a couple of days ago, it was sexism. Today, it's racism. So it kind of changes.
I thought it was going to be. How is it racism? There's only like one black person there.
That's the big question. That's why they made the article. Why? How could it possibly be racism? How could racism have possibly taken down Ghostbusters?
I mean, I don't think it was sexism, but like at least there's an argument because like it's women, but racism.
I'm guessing it was it's racism because I don't think he knows any other words. I think he just said it. Like he didn't even know he said it. Racism, 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 racism. Racism, racism, racism. That's pretty funny. Ghostbusters director Paul Feig is back trying to explain why the film bombed at the box office. Back in 2015, when the film even...
film.
Yeah, it's a terrible film. Like, stop making excuses. It's just a bad film. That's why it failed. It didn't fail because of sexism. It didn't fail because of racism. It failed because it was a middle finger. It was like the Last Jedi before the Last Jedi. It was the Last Jedi, but Ghostbusters instead. That's pretty much what it was. It was a big, gigantic, insulting middle finger to Ghostbusters fans. That's why people hated it. Also, they put like direct insults in there. Like they recut the film to insult the people who didn't want to watch this movie. And that's dedication right there. You went ahead and consciously recut the film to insult your customers, and you're wondering why your movie failed. And you blame it on racism. How does that even work? How does that even work?
It works. It just works, apparently.
It just works. What the only thing that worked was, that it failed. Like if it was a strategy to the whole thing. If the whole thing was a strategy, just to get it to fail, then it worked. So congratulations on that, Paul Frug. Congratulations. Let's see here. Now here's something I wanted to go over. I think I found this really exciting. I think everyone in the chat would like find this exciting too, because there's a reason why I began this whole stream with your boy Zach. And there was a stream recently that featured, wait for it, Mark Waid. Mark Waid is back, chat. If you don't know who Mark Waid is, way back in Comicsgate lore, Mark Waid is essentially the indirect granddaddy of the Comicsgate movement. Because he happened to be the bad guy, the boogeyman, the villain. Was not really the boogeyman. He's a bad guy. But what happened was that your boy Zach, they're trying to ruin his life because he reviewed Marvel comics in the car and in his car and had the audacity not to say they're amazing. And he was so good at pointing out the flaws that he became super duper dangerous. So what happened was that over time, eventually, he came out with his book Jawbreaker's Lost Souls, which is actually pretty good. I have it. I have since backed Jawbreaker's God King and Jawbreaker's recently Grand Bazaar, and of course I backed Expendables Go to Hell. I can't even count how many times I backed that anymore. I think I can. I'm just going to get a bunch of copies of that book. I backed it twice. I'm going to get like a bunch of copies. I backed the one that came with all the variants and stuff, and then I backed the hardcover. So it's going to be great. But your boy Zach tried to get his whole dream. Like his whole dream was to get his comic book published and then put on shelves in a comic book shop. So he made a deal with a company called Antarctic Press. And Antarctic Press, they're apolitical. They're used to taking heat from weirdos and stuff. But they did not know the amount of infamy your boy Zach had at that time. And when they announced that they were going to take on your boy Zach and then they're going to publish Jawbreakers, they had no idea the horrific backlash that was going to go their way. These guys were trying to ruin their lives. Mark Waid rallied his troops and unleashed a hate campaign against Antarctic Press like you would not believe. The guys who own Antarctic Press are doctors, like medical doctors. That's how they can afford Antarctic Press's side business. And so these guys were getting like harassed at the store. They're getting smeared as Nazis. Their Antarctic Press being smeared as Nazis. They're getting calls at their doctors' offices. Their patients were getting calls. They're getting all like endless amounts of harassment. And then Mark Waid steps in and says it gives him a phone call and says, did you know that Richard C. Meyer, your boy Zach's real name, as you know that Richard Meyer is a white supremacist. Did you know that he's an evil bigot, a Nazi, and a white supremacist? And they didn't really believe him, but it was so huge that they felt bullied, they felt intimidated, they couldn't stand it anymore. They couldn't stand it. They couldn't stand this endless onslaught of weirdos calling them Nazis and bigots. So they pulled the shelves. They broke the deal with Richard Meyer and prevented his book from getting on the shelves. And that was a huge win for Mark Waid and the NPC Weirdo crew. And they made victory laps and said, "Yeah, finally we beat the bigot, defeated the evil Richard Meyer who wanted to publish his superhero book." They said that was full of racism and bigotry. It's not, chat. I've read it. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in there except an awesome adventure concerning a bunch of superheroes / a Expendables kind of team of superhero. That's it. There's no like bigotry, not even remotely, in there. But they lied about it so that they could get it pulled from the shelves, and it did get pulled from the shelves. However, your boy Zach retaliated. He rose about $500,000 from that single book alone, raised even more money for a lawsuit, and has been in court with Mark Waid ever since. Mark Waid, knowing he's guilty, okay. Mark Waid knows he's guilty if it takes place in Texas. They have so much stuff on Mark Waid being malicious and harming Richard Meyer's business that if it's stated in Texas, he would lose. So they spent the last like year and a half arguing and stalling for jurisdiction. They finally said jurisdiction. They finally have it set, and it's going to be set in Texas. Bad news for Mark Wade, but it's finally set after a year and a half, or maybe almost 2 years of arguing and stalling. By the way, Mark Wade's lawyer is a man named Mark Zaid, the same guy who was the lawyer for the whistleblower who was trying to tattle on Trump. That same guy, so-called super lawyer, who can't Twitter very well. But the thing is, that's essentially what happened. They knew that they couldn't pretty much win. That's what it looks like. So they've been stalling. Can't stall anymore. They're going to court fairly soon, and or relatively soon, court-wise, which is actually a long time. But Mark Wade is not doing so well.
Lawsuits can last a long,
a very long time. But he's taking Mark Wade to a task on tortious interference, which is basically what happens if you are an interested third party that interferes with a business deal between two other parties, and you could be considered in competition.
Literally, I can translate. It's basically if you're being a fuckwit.
Pretty much. Thank you much, Shiny. Pretty much. There's also the new guy. Let me bring him up real quick. I'll bring it up real quick. Here it is. Okay, this guy in the upper left-hand corner. He's not a bad guy, chat. Okay, he's not a bad guy. He's not on. He's he's neutral. He's politically neutral, in every sense of the word. Like he's according to he's a retail owner. Like he used to do retails. He used to own brick and mortar comic book shops, and he's on the lefty side, obviously, but he's not crazy. Like he's not insane. So he went on Ethan Van Sciver's show at one point, and he does not agree completely. Okay, but he does agree on some points. What he really wants, his whole topic is, could you confiscate guys? Why don't you consider having your books sold in stores? Why not? And the whole thing is that a lot of the big confiscate guys like Ethan Van Sciver and your boy Zach, they don't want to do that because they don't see in order to get books in stores, they're going to print more stuff, print more product, maybe do buybacks. Yeah, it's the whole thing.
To make physical products.
Exactly. It is pretty expensive, and then they're going to take a pay cut on top of all that. They're going to, after everything is said and done, they're going to maybe if they sold a book, and in brick and mortar shop, they're going to get 30-40% in profit in return, as opposed to 95%. It doesn't seem like the best. There's so much more hassle to get less money. I don't know. It's just a whole argumentation going on around there. But the guy in the bottom right here, that's obviously Mark Wade. Just a horrible, horrible human being. I have a video about him. You want to go check him out about all the stuff he's been in. He's screwed over his business partners. He has a volatile temper. He's basically a big bad man baby, and an old man's body. That's basically Mark Wade. Those tantrums everywhere. Everything he says Trump is, Mark Wade is. He's king baby, pretty much. But, however, he was on a live stream here, and we're going to watch a few minutes of it. We're going to watch the whole thing. We'll watch a few minutes of it, because Confiscate people learned that he was on a live stream. And guess what? This channel is monetized. You know what that means, chat? Super chats. It means they can send super chats. And he's obligated to put them on screen. So what do you get? Riddle me this, chat. What do you get when you have Mark Wade, Confiscators, and super chats that the host is obligated to read? The big bad boogeyman of Confiscate, the guy who is the villain, the big bad guy who is so selfish and self-righteous that he went ahead and canceled your boy Zach's dream. How do you think that went for him? See, Adam Post. Welcome, Adam Post. I was planning to make a video, but Little Devil is just... Well, thank you for that, Adam Post. Appreciate it. Well, let's go ahead and check it out, shall we, chat? Oh, Zofrats. Hello, Zofrats. Welcome to the chat. Welcome. And welcome, Vicky. Welcome, John Reddick. All right. 19DCS. Welcome. You joined just in time. Fantastic. This is the good stuff part, chat. This is the juicy stuff. some juicy stuff right here. Let's check it out.
This is where the fun begins.
It's where the fun begins. Exactly.
Copyright then. I told you had to register copyright back in the 30s and 40s. Today you do not. The minute Mick Gray makes a drawing, it is automatically copyrighted. He can get some extra benefits.
Don't worry. This is it takes place after this. I remember this the super chat. So it gets good after this one.
Were he to go ahead and register it, but he doesn't have to. The minute Mark Waid writes a prose story, he's got a copyright. And last, if you'll permit me, in 2033, the Superman that goes into the public domain will be the one from Action Comics 1. So he best not be flying around in space because he can't fly. You know, so
there can't be any Kryptonite, there can't be any Kandor, there can't be any Supergirl.
Okay, I'm going to put this out real quick, chat, before we move on. Remember that one time we went over in a previous episode AVS's interview with Mark Waid and how we joked about, you know, from his perspective, it was what she sees, Cam. He's still doing what she sees, Cam. This is what she sees. I don't know what it is. Was he think it makes him look like more intimidating or something? It's always this camera angle with Mark Waid. Like you're looking up to him. Like you're too short or something.
It's
just
like maybe just the using like maybe he's on a laptop on his knee
or something.
Yeah,
but if you're on a laptop, why would he put it like that? It would be like straight to your face though, unless he's like putting it on like a stool so he could purposely be shorter than him.
Look, laptop like if he had his laptop on his lap and then the screen would be angled all the way up.
I see. Hexhopper, Mark Waid's creepy angle. Yeah, pretty much. He's been doing this for years. Like he never got a better way of doing this or something. I don't want to see him from this angle. Everyone else is a fine angle except for Mark Waid, where we have to look at him, we have to look up to him like he's looking down on us, which feeds into his ego. It's kind of metaphor for his ego.
That
So those will all come later.
Yeah.
Right, and so then as the years go by, then like Kryptonite becomes into public domain, but not from the very beginning. And as I understand, Kryptonite was introduced from the Superman radio show.
Right, that was 45, 1943.
Right.
Yeah.
When was the unpublished story, Mark? Wasn't there like Metal X or something that Siegel and Schuster did that was sort of like Kryptonite, but DC never published it?
That was 1940. Yeah, it was the
There it is. I don't think it reads it, but check this out. Bob Rogers Gun Girl says, some things cannot be fixed, Mark, especially your type of stupid. But I will still throw some money at the host to like, hey, make the obvious known. What a hero. What a hero. Not all heroes wear capes, chat. Not all heroes wear capes. But it doesn't end there. Look, keep an eye on Mark Waid. Look at his facial expressions. He knows. I'm in trouble.
Unpublished Superman story. That it's a whole nother story. But that takes us off topic. But
okay,
I love telling that story. It's a
tell it.
tell it.
You don't have too much time left. Tell it, please. You don't have too much time. Let us.
Actually, you had a couple of questions for me coming up, and I don't want to cheat you of the.
I don't care.
Revenue.
But we get the money no matter what. But all right, if you want to answer, what inspired your lighthearted take on DD, which was fantastic, by the way.
Thank you.
I also want to take a second to say I'm loving your Doctor Strange.
Thank you,
your
man.
take on the Wrecker, one of my all-time favorite underused characters. Great stuff.
Well, artist Kev Walker, he's doing the heavy lifting. But
oh my God, he's great.
With Daredevil, real quickly, it was that I can't do what Bendis does. I can't do what Miller does. I can't do what Brubaker does. They are very specific. They're very good crime writers. They're very, very good at what they do. The best I can hope to be is not as good as Frank Miller, if I'm going to take that take.
Right.
So when Marvel came to me and said, we want you to do Daredevil, would you mind taking it in a slightly more superheroic direction? Yes, because that plays to my strengths. And
really the only way to go after you get, I didn't think anybody could follow Bendis, and then Brubaker came along and just like, holy cow, was that great. But then where do you go from there? You took it to such a great place. And who was the artist? Was it Marcos Martin? Was that the?
It was Marcos Martin at first, and Paulo Rivera, and then Chris Somney came along, and it was just.
Oh yeah, Sam. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's really good looking stuff.
Wonderful. So I'm going to flash this comment for a second because this person paid $5
Here
for
it is.
but it's kind of rude.
Here it is.
It's against the
Bring it
rules
up.
of comic book news because it's kind of rude. But here, they threw some money at us. You know what? We're going to take this money. We're going to donate it to something you'll hate, Barb. How about that?
Now that now Mark Waid has seen it, now it's gonna stay in his mind the whole time. These two guys, I'm pretty sure they hate Mark Waid because they take endless joy from this. I take endless joy from seeing this super chat.
We'll take that $5 and we'll towards something positive.
Okay.
So anyway, back to our characters, guys. Back to what we got here. I really wanted to understand the public domain stuff, and I'm almost more confused.
Look at the face. Look at the face. It's fantastic. Look at it. It's just burning in his mind. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. The bad guys are here. The bad guys are here, chat. The ones who know my crimes and who can shout my crimes to the heavens. And these two guys, especially Mick Gray here. Mick Gray he's just taking endless delight from all of this.
Than ever. To tell you,
you were going in.
I'm just glad that we have a lawyer running this thing because that makes me happy, man.
I mean, it's almost like you need that. And okay, and that reminds me, part of this thing, as I look through the stuff, there's a public domain guide that that is coming out. Part of the project.
look at his face. have you ever done something wrong? Like he's just it's like someone ate the last muffin and and he's it's like Mark Waid came to the kitchen looking for some muffins and you had to you're explaining to him why you ate his last muffin. That's the face he's making right now or something. Oh, really? You ate my last muffin? I was saving that muffin. This concerned face, like it's a totally different face than what he was making a second ago. That is not a face of happiness, not a face of enlightenment. That's a face of anger.
Yeah, I suppose everyone else is like having a laugh at the same time, and he's not.
Especially Mick Gray. Mick Gray is not holding anything back. He's having a good old time up there.
Having a good time in his garage. I want a fucking garage like that. I want to take over a garage. Mine now.
Make it into a
knock down like someone's doors. Like, this is mine now.
Make it into a trooper's den.
Yep.
Or is that just loosely affiliate? Explain to me what that is, Michael.
Okay, so it's really just okay. So there's the 100-page graphic novel. Then we did one-pagers of a bunch of the heroes in the books by various artists like George Perez and others. We had a one-pager of villains. Then we did, let me see. We have a source book. So the source book is really a description of some of their 1940s adventures. So people would have even more backstory on some of these characters. We really summarize what actually occurred in the 1940s comics. We thought that'd be kind of neat, and thank God again for Mark, who did editing, and for poor old Mick, who when we drew these, you should ask Mick at some point what it is like to draw.
Look at that smile he's giving. It's the most pained smile. Like, it looks like he's in pain.
It's like this. He's like smiling in his mouth, but his eyes just are staring dead.
Like, if you just look at this cover, his mouth, his eyes are just eluding so much pain now. Like, his smile is just trying to disguise the fact that he's going, uh-oh, they're coming after me. Like, he got reminded. He thought he was free and clear, like for a few hours, or maybe like half an hour. He could forget about all the nasty trouble he got himself into, trying to play gatekeeper, trying to break someone else's dream. And nope, confiscators found out where he was, and they took advantage of the super chats. And Mick Grace is having he's just loving this up here. It's just fantastic for him. He's having a good old time. It's wonderful.
We'll find you, and when we do, we'll take the piss out of you with super chats.
Exactly. And it's not over yet either. It's not the only super chat he gets.
500.
I think there's like one more.
Different characters, and their faces better all look different.
I've been kind of ignoring Mick a little bit so far.
That's a look of disgust. Like, if you look at micro expressions, that's a look of disgust. It's like if you didn't know any better, it's look like he's smelling a fart or something, like someone opened a garbage can and it's filled with like rotten meat or something. That's the face he's making. That's the face he's making right now. Like he's smelling something horrible. It's a face of disgust. That's what he's feeling. It's so weird. It's so weird. Nef Champion, his smile is so wide. It is very wide. It's a very wide smile.
Look, his face is just tired from all of this.
Yeah, his face. It's not. He's not mad, Chad. His face is just tired. That's it.
Far, only because I know Mark. I know Mark has to bail pretty soon, and I've got a bunch of questions teed up for Mick for sure.
Yeah,
Mark, I got another.
I hate to duck out. I'm sorry. Is there any last
One
questions going
more
out the door?
$10 super chat, baby. Woo! So they want to know about humanoids. You know, you're public.
Let me go ahead and read the whole thing because I don't think he does. Comics Exposed for $10 says, please ask Mark when humanoids under his direction will actually start putting out good comics and stories and actually respect the creative legacy that came before he joined humanoids. Thanks.
Ouch.
Batman and Robin over here come in with super chats and just lay into Mark Waid. I do not pity the man. I don't feel sorry for him one little bit. You get what you get. In other words, Comics Exposed and the other person, they were kind of like, I don't know.
I'm fucking Ahab. I'm Captain Ahab of the blue-haired land whale.
Yeah, pretty much. The Captain Ahab of Mark Waid during this whole stream is fantastic. Fantastic stuff.
Oh, we got to represent more people. Why don't you entertain people? Why don't you stop applauding yourself?
Essentially, the essence of that super chat right there was that little clip right there. Why don't you stop applauding yourself, Mark Waid? Why don't you start entertaining people instead? Okay, when will you actually start putting out good stories in comics and actually start respecting the creative legacy that came before you? When will you do that, Mark Waid? Can you answer me that question? I kind of want to know.
I'm expecting you'll be waiting a long time.
Probably. Mark Waid is just being bombarded right now. Well deserved, I'd say.
Humanoids. When are they going to start putting out? I guess some of the older stuff. I guess they're asking, or
Putting
what?
out good comic stories and actually respect the creative. The answer is Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, right?
Just starting this Tuesday. We've got Tuesday circled on the calendar for the day we start making the books good. Yes.
Oh, okay, good, excellent. Well, question answered. Mark Waid,
He's so butthurt. Look at that face.
That
He's
was
so butthurt.
Like, oh, it's on Tuesday.
Yeah, he's not used to this. Like, he's not used to people disagreeing with him all over the place, and so brazenly too, without consequence. He's not used to it at all. He's one of those guys who's lived with his own little bubble this whole time, sniffing his own farts, and now he's getting a breath of oxygen.
thank you so much. I know you're busy. I know there's crazy stuff going on where you're at right now. Please be safe. Thank you for making the time to come here. I hope you can come back again someday and we'll talk about something.
I would love to. And again, but I'm leaving it in the hands of two really good people here. So have at guys, and I will talk to you all later.
See you, Mark.
Thanks for being a great.
2 super chats. Time to bail. Time to get out of here. They found me. The Commons Gate Inquisition has found me. I better jettison this pod.
Time to abandon ship.
Exactly. Immediately starts to leave. And I gotta get out of here. You know how we could send private messages to? I'm pretty sure that's what Mark Waid was doing, because they're using StreamYards. So I'm pretty sure like Mark Waid is sitting there trying to pretend to smile, pretending it doesn't matter, and then he's doing like this. He's like saying, I don't know, like something like this. I'm getting out of here, and then Dan got the message saying, "I'm okay. Gotta leave. Thank you for joining us, Mark Waid. I guess you're gonna leave now." But you know that's the inevitable result of all of this. You know,
You want to pump out more soy boys that look like Will Wheaton? This is the inevitable result of all of this. This is where we're going. This is why we fight so hard.
you put men like Mark Waid in charge. You're gonna get more soul boys that look like Will Wheaton. That's what you're going to get.
Well, Will Wheaton's.
Yeah, I think we have enough Will Wheaton. I think one is more than enough. But that was I thought that was pretty satisfying. A little delicious karma there, just to lighten up the mood, to make things wonderful again.
I still think it's funny that Will Wheaton tried to like take on PewDiePie.
Oh, bad idea, Will Wheaton. Bad idea.
Will Wheaton, you're a fucking actor who's known for one of the most hated characters in Star Trek. In fact, one of the most hated character in Star Trek. You don't get to act like you're cool and popular because you're not.
Yeah, you're up there with Neelix, okay? You're right up there with Neelix.
Neelix was at least useful for something.
Yeah, he was a fry cook that could lock out the captain. He was pretty good. Okay. Hex Harper, thank you much for the 2. Appreciate that. I gotta love these help me eyes. Exactly. Mark Waid has these big, gigantic, soulful help me eyes that you just can't say no to. Dolomaticus says, so super chats are holy water to the vampire Wade. Apparently, like he immediately left. It's more like garlic, I guess. He started up with garlic super chats up there, and he just leaves. He just kind of vacates the premises immediately. I sent him some two incendiary super chats. He just goes away like sunlight to a vampire. Demon with a Sword. For as long as I can remember, your streams have exactly 1 dislike every time. Just for today, though, there are 2. Mark Wade, is that you? Maybe.
You think he would show his face here?
I don't think so. I don't think he would ever do that. As these fans, LD enjoys the misfortune of his enemies. He truly is a devil. Yeah. He's not even my enemy. He's a bad guy, though. He's a bad guy. I've heard so many horrible things about Mark Wade.
Surely, if you're also the bad guy, then he's on your side, or you're on his side.
It's more like a hell versus apocalypse sort of thing. That situation. Both bad guys, but different bad guys. Let's see. I got a Doomcock video here that might be interesting. Kathleen Kennedy, Star Wars leaks, new female-centric series, details revealed. So that female-centric series that was going to be headed up by Leslie Headland and all that stuff, let's see where it goes. Apparently some more details have landed since she forcibly made Bob Iger greenlight that series in the first place. I see Alex Halo, thank you much for the 2. Appreciate that. Wade, know the Joestar secret technique, run away. Just run away. The Joestar, just run away. Just get out of here. Just jettison the pod, just jump the ship.
Abandon ship.
Abandon the ship. He's already jumped the shark. Time to jump the ship and abandon it too. Let's see here. Okay. Check it out. Hello, my friends.
Greetings, my friends. Please make certain that you are still subscribed to this channel because every day I'm hearing from other people that they have been unsubscribed without their knowledge by YouTube. And if you are not subscribed, please consider supporting this channel. We need you. Thank you. Greetings, my friends. I am Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth. Earlier, I reported on a leak allegedly from inside Disney or Lucasfilm, providing details on the power struggle between Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau for the future of Star Wars. In that video, I discussed how the tension between these two camps arose over The Mandalorian, and particularly over who was responsible for creating Baby Yoda. Kennedy reportedly coming up with the idea of the Mandalorian protecting a child, and Favreau proposing that the baby be of Yoda's species, if not actually Baby Yoda. My source claimed that Kennedy further became incensed when she was told work on the Mandalorian Season 3 scripts was already underway, with Favreau, Filoni, and George Lucas all contributing to the show without her knowledge or input. All of that information was relayed to me by my source, and I presented it as is, saying it should be taken with a grain of salt. Well, now my source has gotten me some rather explosive information that I again present for your consideration. Information regarding the fate of Boba Fett in The Mandalorian, and details regarding the female-centric Star Wars series that Leslie Headland is supposedly working on for Disney+. This information comes to me via sources claiming to be inside Lucasfilm or Disney through an intermediary who has given me valid information in the past. That said, I do not and cannot represent this information as true because I cannot independently verify it. I can only attest that I have received this information, and in discussing it, I am speculating about the implications of these leaks if they turn out to be true. All that said, treat everything you're about to hear as unverified rumor and take it with a grain of salt.
That should be interesting. I wonder where it's going to be taking us, because we're about to hear some details
Sort of TV, like your hooks.
Yeah.
Like, we've like, it's like, oh, what's happening now? It's like the fucking radio show. It's like, today our heroes are
last time.
Anakin Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker. Padawan Ahsoka Tano.
We'll see what happens. We'll see where this goes. See where the Leslie Headland led series goes. By the way, Leslie Headland used to be the personal assistant of Jeffrey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein, not Jeffrey. Harvey Weinstein.
Oh.
So she was the one who carried around the condoms and stuff in her purse. So they don't want you to know that, though. They take you down if you make a video on that subject in particular. But let's see where it goes.
Why? I can't think why they would not want anyone knowing that.
I guess she's Kathleen Kennedy's favorite, and being the personal assistant of Harvey Weinstein isn't such a good thing to have on your resume.
Well, she also made, what was it? I suppose, what's her face? Kathleen Kennedy also has a soft spot for people who are like assistants and shit. So it's like, you know, she
was a coffee girl, I think.
Yeah, she was pretty much a coffee girl. The quotation mark. She made some good coffee.
That's how you get to executive positions, by the way, in Hollywood. You serve coffee for a while, and then you're an executive. Odd how that works, isn't it?
In my previous video, my source claimed Kathleen Kennedy had said of The Mandalorian, "I'll have it my way, or I'll burn this silly nonsense to the ground."
No, what did you say?
Just because someone said it in chat. Plot twist: Jon Favreau is the leak. I would love that. Like if he just came on and like to this and said, "Hey, look, guys, I'm fucking telling you how it is here."
That'd be perfect if Doomcock's source is like an assistant to Jon Favreau, and Jon Favreau's like, "Okay, you get over here. Here's some details about some stuff. It didn't come from me."
Himself. It's him. It's not anyone else.
I mean, I know it could be someone else, but like, what if it's Jon Favreau? Like this indirectly, that could like a plausible scenario. Could be like Jon Favreau getting an assistant and saying, "Okay, you're my most trusted assistant. Here's some details. Leak this to the YouTubers. Give this to Doomcock."
It's like fucking New Hope. It's like save the rebellion. Oh,
Doomcock, like, you're my only hope.
Yeah, that works. I was gonna say save the rebellion, but that's the wrong film.
Let's see, the one in service, Tanya. Here you are serving coffee to people. Here you are serving coffee to people around, and suddenly you're an executive. You didn't ask for this. You didn't want this.
Oh, she wanted it.
Here you are.
Don't tell me she didn't want to be an executive.
That's how you get there. You serve coffee for a little bit, and suddenly if you make it to like level 10 coffee girl, you gain all the knowledge you need to be an executive.
You just tie yourselves to as many things as possible without doing jack shit.
Pretty much.
Well, my friends, if what I'm about to tell you is true, and that's a big if, then the match is already lit and Kennedy is moving in to start the fire. It has been announced that Boba Fett will be seen in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. That much is officially acknowledged. What has not been reported is Kennedy's intention to not only influence Boba Fett's role in The Mandalorian, but to twist the character to fit her own agenda and further the brand of identity politics she's been trying to sell since Disney acquired Star Wars.
This is a surprise
so,
to anyone.
What is the fate of Boba?
Is it a surprise? This point,
really.
have you not been paying attention to what's been happening?
It's pretty obvious, I think.
Yes, okay.
It's a Titanic Tuna, level 10 coffee girl, executive multi-class. Yeah, exactly. Multi-class. Just coffee girl / executive. That's what I got. You know, like a barbarian / wizard or something. Coffee girl / executive. That'll work.
I will fight forever that the best multi-class you can ever roll in D&D is the Barbarian.
The Barbarian. Barbarian. They fight you and they sing about it. Like Buster Scruggs. He'll shoot you and then he'll sing about it.
Anyone who disagrees with me is a Nazi.
You didn't ask for this, but you're a Nazi.
Boba Fett in The Mandalorian? And what exactly is the nature of the female-centric Star Wars series former Harvey Weinstein assistant Leslie Headland is going to be working on for Disney Plus? According to my source, a few days after the call with Iger where Kennedy discovered work was already proceeding on the first script for Season 3 of The Mandalorian, Kennedy rallied her people with an email summoning them to a mandatory meeting, saying, if you don't show up for this meeting, you might as well start looking for a new job. Kennedy wanted to make her move, wanted to impose her will on the Star Wars franchise yet again, and this is what I'm told she and her people came up with. Since Boba Fett is going to be in The Mandalorian Season 2, Kennedy reportedly decided that if she gets her way, in Season 3, Boba Fett will take his helmet off and he will be revealed to be a woman.
You can't do that, though. But why would it? What? How? How the fuck would that happen? How?
Oh, let's listen to it again. That sounds kind of strange. Let's check this out.
You already know he's a man.
Let's check it out.
Factual. You can't make him a woman.
Shiny, it's impossible to adhere to continuity. Okay, it's impossible. You can't do it. Literally impossible.
I will slap you. I would slap the devil. Not many people can say they've attempted to slap a devil, but I will.
It's literally impossible, Shiny. It's literally impossible. You can't. It's literally impossible to adhere to continuity.
And you weak-ass fat-beard cucks who let these bitches come in here and make it unhospitable. Tell the fans that they're Nazis if they don't like their characters being destroyed.
That's how you got here. That's how you got here.
Up with. Since Boba Fett is going to be in The Mandalorian Season 2, Kennedy reportedly decided that if she gets her way, in Season 3, Boba Fett will take his helmet off and he will be revealed to be a woman.
So if Kathleen Kennedy gets her way, according to what's going on right now, Boba Fett's going to arrive on scene, take off his helmet, and reveal that Boba Fett has been a woman this entire time, even though that we know canonically he's a man.
Yeah. You fuckers, you motherfuckers.
They're gonna turn. Maybe he's trans now. He was a man. He's a man no longer. Now he's a woman. He used to be canonically. He probably used to be a man. Now canonically, he's a woman.
Will murder someone.
That's what Kathleen Kennedy wants. She wants to turn Boba Fett into a woman, even though he's canonically already established as a man. Interesting choices here.
Are we just living in
My friends.
Living in just insane. Is the world an insane asylum?
It's a circus.
Are we living in the upside down worlds?
I believe it's referred to as Clown World. Shiny. It's called Clown World.
Honestly, at this point, yeah, I accept that. That's canon now. We're in Clown World.
We are currently in Clown World.
In the world where Star Wars got bought by Disney and Boba Fett's now going to be a woman. Where we got The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens.
Well, I think everything will be fine as long as Favreau wins. As long as Favreau can outmaneuver Kennedy, I think we'd be good. I don't think so.
Favreau is while I don't think he's the type of person that puts his politics ahead of his storytelling. I know obviously Favreau and Dave Filoni's politics are very obvious. They just don't whack you in the face with it.
Yeah, because they're actual creators. And so they're very loyal to their craft instead of agenda-driven stuff. See, sketch therapy. Welcome, sketch therapy. This smells like a red herring. And it sounds so ridiculous, but I don't know. Like, if any other circumstance, I'm like, yeah, this is obviously trying to throw us off. But under any other circumstance, that's what it would be. But this is Kathleen Kennedy. She wanted to make. She wanted to have like a female director. She wanted to make Baby Yoda a female Yoda. All this stuff. She wanted to make all these characters female and everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if she was bold enough to make the Boba Fett not just a woman, but a trans woman. Like, he used to be a man, but now he's a woman. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
If I laugh at any mortal thing, 'tis that I may not weep. I'm laughing because this is the state of Star Wars now, where we have to examine and discuss the most heinous leaks imaginable. Because things have gotten so bad, literally anything can be true, no matter how awful. A year ago, if I had told you space horses would be galloping across the surface of a star destroyer, you'd have thought me insane.
Yep. See, Doomcock painted exactly how I see it. Like, if you were to tell me before The Rise of Skywalker would come out that you would have a space battle with a cavalry charge, and that the Emperor is going to shoot lightning up in space and take out an entire fleet, I would have said, no, that's ridiculous. Even when Doomcock was saying that, yeah, that's what's going on, I was like, okay, someone's playing it. Like, there's no way this is going to happen. There's no way they're this silly. But I went to go watch the movie, and it's exactly what happens. There's a cavalry charge on the side of a ship, and the Emperor shocks an entire fleet with force lightning. It's like a 13-year-old wrote this script. I cannot believe what I just saw.
You didn't want this. You didn't choose this, but here it is.
But here we are.
Fuck you.
Now you're saying that we're going to have they're going to turn Boba Fett into a woman. Sounds weird. Sounds like something that would never ever happen because he's already established canonically as a man. But
left-wing activists, they say, nice hobby that you have. It's a little bit sexist, don't you think? Maybe you better let us in to fix it. Bitch, it wasn't made for you.
It's kind of a nice hobby you have here. Kind of sexist, don't you think? Let me go ahead and fix it. I'm going to turn Boba Fett into a woman. Shazam.
The fault lies not in ourselves, but in our Star Wars. Things really are that crazy, and that is not the fans' doing, so we can be forgiven for questioning everything at this point. We have people creating Star Wars who care nothing about tradition or canon or fans. They see Star Wars merely as a vehicle for their propaganda. At this point, so was Boba Fett supposedly a woman all this time? Evidently not. But the details here are nearly as insidious. This, my source claims, is how Boba Fett being a woman will be explained if Kennedy gets her way on this. After Boba Fett...
He's trans. They're going to make him trans. It has to be.
That takes off his/her helmet in The Mandalorian, we will see a flashback to Boba Fett crawling out of the Sarlacc pit, only to die in the sand. A bunch of Jawas scavenge Boba Fett's armor.
Wait,
he died in sand.
Only to die in the sand. It's rough and coarse.
Dies. Boba fucking Fett. You're gonna kill him in sand. You kidding? What the fuck? Sand. I mean, it's coarse and rough and he gets everywhere, but fucking sand.
Let me see. Let's go back and see what he says. I'll go ahead and.
Oh yeah, he can take on fucking space worms. He can take on Jedi. He can do all this crazy shit. He can capture Han Solo. He can track Han Solo. Oh, but his one weakness is sand.
Can't take on sand. Let's see here. Alex Halo, thank you too. Gilgamesh, Shiro, hurry up ending the world, please. Let's end it already. Zerfred says, but LD, now you can cuddle with Boba Fett. Well, that's true. I thought it was a good thing. I think that'd be fulfilling a fanboy fantasy where all the fanboys can now cuddle with Boba Fett.
They already have Temuera Morrison, so why would they do this? Temuera Morrison's already on this to go to be in the Mandalorian.
The Force is female, Shiny. All the main characters be women.
Fuck that.
The
Fuck
only
that
reason why they
shit.
had Luke Skywalker is to make him into a simp. That's it. That's all they wanted to do with him. They want to ruin his character. The very Luke Skywalker to them represented all the things they hated about Star Wars, all the maleness, all the whiteness, all the pretty much everything they hated about it. So they treat him like the passion of the Skywalker, just whips and beatings and constant humiliation.
Will be explained if Kennedy gets her way on this. After Boba Fett takes off his/her helmet in The Mandalorian, we will see a flashback to Boba Fett crawling out of the Sarlacc pit, only to die in the sand. A bunch of Jawas scavenge Boba Fett's armor, and then we see Boba Fett's armor being subsequently acquired by Sabine Wren, a female Mandalorian from Star Wars Rebels. My source claims the plan is to...
So it's not Boba Fett then.
No, but he escapes. He go like the Sarlacc, the thing that's supposedly impossible to get out of. He escapes that. It's like impossible, and then it comes across to Sabine. Why would Sabine already has her own armor? Why would she take his? What is this? Like the Mandalorians, like the whole armor thing. It's like it's family, like it's ancestral. Like they melt down family's armor who've fallen down in battle, and they turn it into armor again. And it's why? He's isn't even supposedly Beskar because he's not a proper Mandalorian. It's fucking.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
She just comes out. Oh look, some nice armor you got here. I'm just gonna take it because the thing is, we're talking about a character that didn't even want to be Mandalore. She ended up giving it to fucking what was her name? Bo-Katan. She gave the Darksaber to Bo-Katan because she didn't want to become the Mandalore. So why would she just take up someone else's identity? It's like, what is this?
Madness. Madness on the reign of tyrannical Empress Kennedy. Let's see here. So, flashback is gonna be a flashback, and then a woman takes his armor or something. We'll see.
To have Sabine Wren take Boba Fett's armor, become Boba Fett, and her subsequent adventures as female Boba Fett will lead into an animated show on Disney+. This is allegedly the series that Leslie Headland will be working on.
So that's the series. It's a female-led Boba Fett show, but where the Boba Fett is a woman because a woman found Boba Fett's armor and took his identity.
No, fuck it, you can have Sabine because I don't even give two shits about Sabine. She's not even a well-written character. She's just there. She's just not a Mary Sue. At this point, yes, she has more character than fucking Rey, but the problem is they spend so much time on fuck off Ezra that like they don't get to spend time with anyone else. They force Ezra into every single fucking episode, and the closest we get to a Sabine episode, it's actually all right, but it's not enough. We needed way more. So fuck it, you can have that. You can have Sabine. I don't care. You can have her. Don't fuck up Boba Fett, and don't you dare fuck up Ahsoka. I will yeet you.
But they will. They will though. They're trying to ruin Boba Fett. So Boba Fett died in Sarlacc pit. He manages to crawl out, survive, and then he dies in the sand. And then he's discovered by Jawas, and then they turn Boba Fett into a woman by having a woman find his armor, and then just kind of like bum rolling him and stealing his stuff. And then she assumes the identity of Boba Fett, and she becomes internationally awesome. How come it can't just be her own character? How come they have to go out of the way to have her take Boba Fett's armor? Why?
Isn't that interesting to say, like, in order for a female character to be important, they have to steal someone else's identity?
I guess not when she's stealing a man's identity and then just kind of like taking his masculinity away from him. I guess not. But that's essentially the idea for Leslie Headland's female-led show is a Boba Fett-centric show where Boba Fett's a woman. That's really roundabout. Like, how come you just couldn't think of your own character?
Like, I hope that this is not happening because I had so much more hope after The Mandalorian and after fucking Clone Wars Season 7. I had so much hope, but fuck, I hope this is true. I hope this is some troll. I hope that this isn't true. I hope whatever the fuck. No, you can't do this to me. No, I'm not accepting it. No. And after all the leaks as well, like the leaks and the suggestions of like possibly more Clone Wars and any sequel series would be in the Clone Wars style, because that style is beautiful and gorgeous, and anyone who says it's not gorgeous, I will fucking murder you.
Let's see here. Blue says, ironically, this trope we've been seeing lately, of women assuming the mantle of a man instead of just having their own identity, is, well, pretty sexist. I agree. They can't really. It's pretty sexist to assume that a woman can't have her own identity as a character, as a main character, or as a lead, unless she's already gone through a roundabout way of assuming the mantle of a man. It's really ridiculous. And see, a Noble Commando. First Rey takes Luke's name, and Sabine takes Boba Fett's armor. What next? Rey stealing the Millennium Falcon? Oh wait, she took that too. Yeah, exactly. I think Katie just wants to add in all these female characters, and they tend to just go in and take all the stuff that used to be men's. Like, if it belonged to a male character, they take it. They just take it away from him. Like taking the toys back or something. It's my turn to play with the toys. That sort of thing. It's very like petty, almost. I won't even say almost.
I'm just reminded of remember the Rogue One scene where it's like that they get the card to Leia and this is, what is it, ma'am? And it's like, it's hope. And it's like Clone Wars like Season 7 and The Mandalorian. All of a sudden, Kathleen Kennedy just goes, mine, stomp, stomp, stomp. No hope now, bitch.
Mine now.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see. Let's see what he say.
Well, isn't that delightful? I hope this isn't true. I hope this is disinformation or a mistake or an aborted idea that has been or will be abandoned.
I don't know, Doomcock. Sorry to say, but we thought the exact same thing when we heard the leaks from Rise of Skywalker. I hope this is fake. Hope this is a misdirection. It all turned out to be true. All the weird, wacky stuff that were too weird and wacky to actually believe, thinking that it was like a misdirect. No, it turned out to be true. So I wouldn't be surprised if this also all turned out to be true. DJ and Voices, thank you much for the 5. Appreciate that. Give it time, Shiny. After you see what they do to Boba, a shock on everyone, you'll wish they just killed her.
Your female characters aren't even safe from the mouse.
I'm pretty sure DJ and Voices is right about here. You're gonna wish that they just killed her while she was still unruined too. When she was still good, when she's still a good character, before Kathleen Kennedy get her vile, horrific clutches on her. I'm pretty sure you would prefer Ahsoka being killed rather than being turned into whatever Kathleen Kennedy wants to turn her into. Let's see, Locations Primate, thank you much for the 5. KK Kennedy, let's just call her KK Kennedy, may want to preserve Star Wars after all. Only by characters she meant Palpatine herself, with other original characters as the Death Star plans. Yeah, kind of like that, I guess, because Kathleen Kennedy has been called like the evil empire to Favreau's rebellion. It's pretty interesting and very apt because she's like this tyrannical witch, where Palpatine was a tyrannical dark wizard. Yeah, that's essentially how it's going at the moment, anyway.
Given Kathleen Kennedy's agenda, this makes a lot of sense. Disney Star Wars has been all about girl power, Disney princesses with lightsabers. The Force is female, and there's a new sign on the Star Wars Clubhouse that says no boys allowed or wanted. Boba Fett is a beloved character from the original trilogy who looms large in myth and canon. Boba Fett was going to be featured in his own standalone Star Wars story before Solo bombed so badly that Bob Iger put the films on a moratorium, and the Boba Fett movie became The Mandalorian. Retconning Boba Fett into being a woman All this time may be too large a leap even for Iger to make, but this is the next best thing as far as Kennedy is concerned, the path of least resistance for Kennedy's female-centric agenda in destroying Star Wars. Boba Fett, for all intents and purposes, is his costume. Outside of the EU, little is known of this character, and that's part of his mystique. If a woman buys that costume and puts it on, and goes around representing herself as Boba Fett, in essence, she becomes Boba Fett in the minds of a whole generation of viewers. This is yet another example of reaching back into Lucas's original Star Wars and mutilating it, transforming Lucas's work into something it never was, all for political purposes. Everything in Star Wars now must center around women. That is Kennedy's aim. Whereas Favreau and Filoni seem mainly set on making some good stories, the other side of this power struggle is looking not to make Star Wars, but make Star Wars different. And therein lies the problem. I have some questions regarding these alleged leaks. On the one hand, I feel skeptical that Disney would want another series about a Mandalorian bounty hunter. That seems crazy and counterproductive to me, since it would, in a sense, be competing with The Mandalorian. On the other hand, I can see Kennedy wanting to do this because it would be competing with the...
That's exactly. Remember, the whole thing about The Mandalorian is that she wanted full control of The Mandalorian. By the way, DJM voices, you either die a hero or live long enough to become a Mary Sue. It seems to be the trajectory of some of these characters. But so Kathleen Kennedy wanted full control of The Mandalorian. So she brought on Favreau, and they brought up they brainstormed the Baby Yoda. They found out what he was going to do during the show, but Kathleen Kennedy, she wanted a female Baby Yoda. She wanted a female director for the Mandalorian. She probably wanted a female Mandalorian too. She wanted to fill it full of women, but Favreau kind of went behind her back and said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do all that," and then didn't, which sparked a civil war.
I'm kind of hopeful because one of the things that I think Kathleen Kennedy probably would have pushed for was the fact that they want it kind of seems obvious when you take the helmet off that they would want him to be a woman, and that would be the closest thing that they could get away with. However, that since they couldn't get away with that, I hope to God that they can't get away with Boba Fett. If they can't fuck up that character, they can't fuck up Boba Fett.
I'd rather Mando be a woman than they turn Boba Fett into a woman. That's just weird. That's really strange.
Being reminded of that
Batwoman
trailer now.
About the which one?
The Batwoman trailer, but I'm a woman.
It's so cringy. What are they doing? Just stop with your agenda already.
Mandalorian. As counterintuitive and counterproductive as this idea clearly is, it would allow Kennedy to essentially make her version of The Mandalorian and further compromise Lucas's original vision for Star Wars by yet again revamping a classic character into something he never was, taking yet another male icon and appropriating it, subverting it in the name of feminism. In a sense, it would allow Kennedy to beat Favreau at his own game, since in her mind, her version of The Mandalorian would be superior, and she would, in her mind...
And if this works out, it will unfortunately ruin Boba Fett, but we'll get to see side by side the numbers of how Favreau's Mandalorian would go and how Kathleen Kennedy's Mandalorian will go.
At this point, it has to be obvious. The only good thing I can think of coming of this is that it will be blatantly obvious that you don't let Kathleen Kennedy near any of this. Because if the Mandalorian does great, Kathleen Kennedy touches it, it's dead.
That's the one silver lining here, is that if this actually is true, and they're going to have a competing Mandalorian shows, then we'll get to see which ones the fans like better, and we're going to see Kathleen Kennedy. Now, with her name attached to it, it dies. But the other Mandalorian show succeeds. I'm pretty sure they're going to say, it's sexist, but whatever.
I don't want like a show to. I don't want any of this to actually happen though. I don't. It doesn't need to happen. We already know what happens when you put Kathleen Kennedy in charge.
We
We've
certainly
established
do.
this already.
We certainly do. Let's see. Let's see what he has to say. He's almost done.
Finally get the credit that is her due. If this leak is true, and I cannot represent that it is without further verification, so do take it with a grain of salt, Kennedy and Headland would make this new series a rebuttal.
I cannot, because the only I don't know why they can't verify the person giving the leaks, because it would be simple as giving your identity over and saying, hey, look, I'm Jeff Franks. I'm a writer in the group. I'm assistant to Jon Favreau. I serve him coffee
Every morning.
Yeah, but the only thing that I can think of is like why he wouldn't give his identity is because maybe he's worried that he'd be given away to someone else. But like, surely if you're giving this information away to him, and you want this information out, you would want it to be confirmed. Like you'd want people to know that it is true.
I think he's kind of had some backing now because everything that they told Doomcock for Rise of Skywalker turned out to be true. So
However,
now
they could have been taking it from the other leaks.
Could be, but Doomcock said he had like Doomcock said he had an insider or something like that, if I remember correctly. And all happened to be true. I think leaks came from Doomcock actually.
Well, the leaks were from was it a Reddit or 4chan post or something along those lines? It was some kind of online post on some online forum. Those are the original leaks. And often where I get my leaks
To the
from
Mandalorian.
Clone Wars is on forums.
No, the Reddit forum.
Well, yeah, different forums where people from behind the scenes say, like, "Oh, I'm tired of this shit. I don't
Face is
want this
tired."
anymore." And that's why I started learning about the behind the scenes of so. Sorry, I was just distracted by a comment for a second. I'll read that in a second. But I learned that the Star Wars story group, because there's multiple Reddit posts that pretty much bitch about them because they don't act as, and from what I've seen, I can believe it, because they police comics, TV shows, and the animated shows and books. However, they let the films do whatever the fuck they want, and they don't care about canon. They just care about what Disney tells them is good and bad.
Let's see. Yeah, I think you heard you talking about that, where they they kind of guard it way too seriously.
Yeah, but the guy I can't finish it. Damascus. He removes certain pieces to not lead back to them, but he would still be able, if he knew the identity, he doesn't have to tell anyone else the identity. Like he just has to give his identity to Doomcock. Doomcock would then keep his identity secret and then can say this is confirmed, because there have been other times within the gaming industry that certain people have spoken out and they've given their identity to a YouTuber, and the YouTuber can say, yes, this is confirmed. He is someone who works in the industry. We just can't tell you. Yeah, so I'm not
a rebuttal.
Sorry, yeah, just a chat, because chat is saying Again, he doesn't have to reveal his identity to everyone. Just Doomcock. That's all he would have to do, or she, whoever this is.
I'm really interested to see who his contact is. It was really interesting.
Because the contact doesn't have to say who. Doomcock doesn't have to tell who the contact is. He just has to know that it is from Lucasfilm to be able to confirm it.
Maybe he does know. It's just he's just saying that it's just because it's not substantiated. It might be some disgruntled worker. So even if it's from Lucasfilm, it might say, well, maybe it's not absolutely substantiated just yet. But he wants to be sure. But
then he would
so far it's worked
from Lucasfilm.
So far it's worked. So far he's been spot on, especially with the Rise of Skywalker stuff.
to the idea of original Star Wars, and yet another middle finger to 50-something fans who just want to enjoy a little Star Wars. I suppose that if this Boba Fett series was animated, that might be seen as sufficiently different from The Mandalorian to get it made, but honestly, this idea is bizarre and very disappointing. If there is any hope at all for Star Wars moving forward, and I'm not convinced there is, it lies on the side of Favreau and Filoni and George Lucas. So long as Kennedy is in charge, that galaxy far, far away gets farther away from us every day. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry.
Stay angry. Stay angry, folks. Okay, so that was it. And we're hitting about the 3-hour mark here. I think we'll go ahead and end out the stream. Before we do that, and go ahead and go over Dr. Alpha real quick, because today I added a new update for Dr. Alpha. So if you want to see some, I got the posters in for the campaign. If you want to go check out the posters, I have pictures of the actual posters. In the update, I have new pages. I have
Where can we get this? Where can we get this poster?
you can
Tell
get
me more.
none other than Dr. Alpha Milker Child on Indiegogo, still live. In fact, I got hit with some refunds recently for some reasons. I think it was because some people were like suffering from COVID-19 and stuff like that. You know, it's been tough for some people financially.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still available if you want to back it. If you want to check it out, you haven't backed it yet. You want to back it again, or back it the first time. It's there. We have this new pages. I have this page out. This one page story. It's right here if you want to check it out. I have some new pages and all that good stuff. All that good stuff. So, including the picture. Well, I really like the pictures of the posters. The posters are fantastic. They're high quality posters. So you want to check it out? The description. The link is in the description. And there's that. Just want to check it out. There's new updates. Want to let everyone know there's a new update for Dr. Alpha. And I believe tomorrow might be again a Tropes versus Orcs episode. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if anyone wants to join me for tomorrow's Tropes versus Orcs. So everyone, hope you had a wonderful time, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you all next time.